Welcome to this week's edition of the Comic Hall and Roundtable discussion. I'm Matt Odom, Al Rainey, Antonio Coleman, and the other guest panelists should be joining us shortly. We're gonna Al. Before we even get started on anything, how are you doing, my friend?
Thank you. I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking, man. Just new job or new schedule rather. Other than that, man, I'm still breathing, living, thank God, and I'm still collecting comic books, man. I'm happy to be here tonight, and I'm ready to talk about some stuff.
All right, well, we got a lot to talk about tonight. This seems like it's been a while since we did the show. I guess it's the new two-week departure.
I think we missed a week too because of something. I think you were out of town, so I think it's been like 3 weeks or something. I can't
Oh
remember.
no, no, you wouldn't know that. So it's been a while for you.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes, that's
you wouldn't know
right.
that on
I
that.
wasn't on there because I was working the last time. That's right.
Yeah, I was in parts unknown.
And I was at Park Oak Muggy Boulevard.
15%. All right,
15%.
so let's go ahead and let's hop right into this thing. We're gonna go ahead and do our top 10. Uh, this was a pretty tough list to do, um, and the fact that we have four honorable mentions for this list should tell you how hard it was to compile this list. Uh, and for those who are Tennessee fans, Corey Davis was drafted to the Tennessee Titans. So you'll be getting NFL draft updates tonight too as well. Uh, the top 10 80s action flicks list is the hardest list that I've ever had to do on this show. You said last night you had to get started last night as well because your list was hard. And I mean, it's so many movies I want to put on this list, but it just was so hard to fit them all in. So, as we say in church down here, charge it to my heart and not to my head.
Yeah, I have to say the same thing too, Matt, because oh, I forgot to tell everybody, thank you for joining. I know the draft is on, so we in some competition tonight, but stick around for some good old fashioned discussion. But yeah, man, I had to start on my list last night because man, you talking about the 80s, man, that was a time where man, put it to you like this.
Trying to get my head
All the
together.
movies, okay, you good, but all the movies that we looking at right now on our list at some point or another have either been remade within the last 5 years or are to be remade. So that actually speaks a lot about 80s movies from that particular era. A lot of those movies were like classic movies, and some of them have received some justifiable remakes, and some recall were not that well. So yeah, we dealing with a serious topic, and I would have to say this is probably by far the most difficult of lists that we have done since we've been doing this show.
All right, and with that being said, let's go ahead and hop right in here. My honorable mentions for tonight on this top 10 list: Tango and Cash,
Hmm.
A Better Tomorrow
Hold up, A Better Tomorrow. Who's in there?
is an 80s, is an old Japanese movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, TC may have seen it. He might have seen it. It's really old. You should check it out, by the way. You get a chance. It's pretty good.
Okay.
Uh, A Better Tomorrow, First Blood, uh, and Under Siege.
Mm.
Yeah, I wanted to put Under Siege on there, but it's just that's one of my favorite 80s movies. It's just action movies. It's pretty hard to get on that list. But number 10 was already a tie right at the gate. And Roadhouse and Over the Top. Number 9 is Mad Max 2. Number 8 is Commando. Number 7 is a tie. Lethal Weapon 1 and Platoon.
Mm.
Number 6, Big Trouble in Little China and Escape from New York.
Snake Plissken.
Snake Plissken. Number 5 is Rambo 2. Number 4 is one of my favorite movies, Steven Seagal Out for Justice, based off
Oh
just
man,
off the pool hall scene alone.
that's
Uh,
probably his best movie. Period.
yeah, I mean, a lot of people say when they talk about Steven Seagal, they always go to Above the Law. And Above the Law is all right, but it was, and I really didn't, Hard to Kill was okay. It was all right. I really wasn't into the
Hmm.
whole Jamaican gangster thing. So,
Yeah.
nah. So, I'd say Out for Justice is probably his best movie outside of Under Siege. Because when you go look at the cast, see, this is the thing. You go look at the cast of who was in Under Siege, and then you see how good that movie was. Under Siege was a really good movie based off of who was in it. I mean, Tommy Lee Jones.
Hmm.
What's my other guy's name that was in there? You got
Gary Busey.
Gary Busey. Yeah, I mean you got him.
TC.
Uh,
TC.
the chick that was in there, that was one of the heroes. She was pretty well known at the time. Stallone, not Stallone, but Seagal. I mean, you got a lot of, and that black guy that was in there was in a lot of movies too. The British guy. There was one of the henchmen. He was in a lot of movies too. It's
Hmm.
just a really, really good movie, man. It's a really good movie. Number 3. This is when it got really hard for me on this list. Die Hard is number 3. Now you could easily put Die Hard number 1, depending on who you're talking to. So Die Hard was number 3. Antonio is going to appreciate number 2. Number 2 on my list is Predator.
Okay.
Now you see what he got on.
I saw his shirt.
He got on, yeah. No, number
Pretty
2
shirt master.
is Predator, and I don't know why they're remaking that movie. That's a discussion for another time. And number 1 on my list is probably one of the best movies known to man in the 80s. A lot of people forget this movie came out in, I believe it was 80. I might be wrong. I want to say it was 88. It's either 88 or 89. And that was Terminator 2.
Judgment Day. Yeah.
Judgment Day was the shit. I mean, just all based. I'm just calling a spade, man. I mean, dude, when the Terminator showed up, when the second one showed up with all that liquid, man, and then the scene, the scene when they were in the psycho ward. I mean, that's it, man. That's it. So that's my top 10 list. And like I said, I could have easily threw several other movies on there, but having to condense it down to 10 was just really, really hard for me. Because I mean, you got I could have put Rocky 4 on there if you want to consider that a good solid movie. But then let's see what else you had. You can pick any of those Delta Forces from the 80s. I mean, you got Death Wish. I mean, you got anything from John Climb Bay down.
Let's not forget. Dang, Delta Force. You just said Delta Force, didn't you?
Yeah, Delta Force, Death
Chuck
Wish,
Norris.
Chuck
Yeah.
Norris. Let me see, Action Jackson. That's that. I mean, you just had a whole lot. So,
Yeah.
TC, welcome to the panel, my friend. Glad to have you here tonight, my man.
Right
How y'all
on.
doing?
Face in the place. All right, Al, let's hear your top 10, my friend.
Well, I actually got a diverse list, man. To be honest with you, this thing was like really, it was crazy. But I'm gonna go ahead and give my honorable mention first. My honorable mentions is going to be I got 4. The Protector, which is Jackie Chan. He actually redid that movie. But I like the original one. It got panned by the critics, but I thought it was pretty good. Number 3 is The Running Man. Arnold Schwarzenegger, him and Stallone and Bruce Willis pretty much owned the 80s. So any one of Arnold Schwarzenegger's movies could be on anybody's top 10, I'm assuming, unless you just don't like Arnold Schwarzenegger. So The Running Man was my number 3. Number 2 was actually Predator. And y'all gonna trip out on me in my top 10. I don't care. Number one had to be Batman, because Batman actually squeezed out. It came out in '89. So of course, you know, Jack Nicholson and Michael Keaton.
You know, I watched it the other day, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to watch the the blimp scene all over again. You know, watching the blimp scene now is just hilarious. The way Joker just did the dancing. Carry on, my friend. Carry on.
Right on. So my top 10 is going to start off with Big Trouble in Little China. Number 9, Raiders of the Lost Ark. A lot of folks don't, you know, those. I love Raiders, the movies. You know, Han Solo did his thing in those movies. Number 8, and this is probably where I'm gonna get flack. Predator 2. I actually like Predator 2.
Predator 2 is a good movie, man.
Yeah, it was a really good movie. But you know, a lot of folks say, man, you know, the first one was best because it had Jesse Ventura and Carl Weathers and the Indian dude and whoever else, Bill Nunn. But I thought Predator 2, man, the way they set that up with Danny Glover was pretty good, man. So number 8 is Predator 2. Number 7, even though it's deemed a comedy, Beverly Hills Cop, it had action in it as well.
I started to put that on my list, man. TC will tell you that's my favorite movie.
Yeah, man, I love that movie.
I know it backwards and forwards.
Oh
I
yeah.
know it from beginning to end.
Yeah.
I'm with the Rap Coalition of America.
Oh man, but yeah, Beverly Hills Cop is on my list. Number 6 has to be Commando. That's a good movie all the way through. Number 5, Total Recall. Number 4, Die Hard. Number 3 is actually deemed a drama, but I put it on here as action anyway, and that's Rocky 3. Clubber Lang, man, is like the man's man, essential. Every man wants to be him. Every woman wants to be with him. Clubber Lang.
He eats. What is it, TC? He eats thunder and
He's
crap.
thunder and craps lightning. He's a wrecking machine.
Right. Number 2 is actually deemed a comedy, but it's a lot of action in this movie, and that's Ghostbusters. I don't care what nobody say. Ghostbusters is an action movie.
Yeah, I wanted to put it on there, man. I mean, that's why I told you earlier. It's just so hard to get some of this stuff on there.
Right, because you know, you look at some of these movies and you look at what they're categorized as. It's like, nah, Ghostbusters is an action movie. Yeah, it's funny, but it's an action movie too. So
I have seen shit that will make you turn you white.
Yep. And my number 1, man, I toyed with this because my top 5 are pretty much some of my favorite movies to watch. But I'd have to go with Return of the Jedi as number 1. It's an action movie, of course, even though it's deemed sci-fi, but it is an action movie in my eyes. So that rounds out my top 10.
I wanted to comment on that Predator 2, man. Let me tell you, a lot of people, like as you said, a lot of people don't like Predator 2, man, but I thought Predator 2 was really good. And my favorite scene in the whole movie was when they were in that warehouse.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best scene. We were taking them off one by one.
One by one. And this dude, man, he ain't no tactical commando in the jungle and stuff, man. This dude just like, man, y'all mess with the wrong Negro. So we gonna handle this thing. G style.
I'm a hold this. I'm a hold my. It's one movie I'm looking to see that hadn't gotten called yet, and I'm gonna see if anybody's gonna call it tonight.
Predator 2 had what you call it? Old boy from Fear the Walking Dead. That was Danny Boy. That was Danny Glover's partner that got killed. Fear the Walking Dead, the old man.
Oh yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Danny Boy.
Crazy Joker. Okay. All right.
Good Lord.
Yeah, I knew about that from the start. So.
All right, TC. I know your list is gonna be interesting.
All right, let me go ahead and get my honorable mentions out the way, and there's a lot of honorable mentions. I mean, Missing in Action. I know y'all mentioned that. RoboCop, Roadhouse, Over the Top, Delta Force. Y'all mentioned that. Those are my honorable mentions. I mean,
what's your favorite part about Over the House, man? I mean, not Over the House, but Over the Top.
Over the Top, man. You know what, man? It's a couple of scenes in there. Probably the best one was when Stallone was talking to the old man, the main villain in there, man, and Terry Funk came up to him, and the old man said he wasn't done talking to you. And Terry Funk came up to Stallone and punched him in the chest like, hey, he's not done talking to you. And the next thing you know, you see Terry Funk flying through double doors, getting busted through the glass. Between that scene and the scene where he explained, like, well, when I go arm wrestle and when I turn my hat to the back, I'm like this truck. I'm like a machine. When I turn my hat to the back, I can't be stopped. That's my favorite two scenes in the whole movie when they explain that.
Yeah.
But the my top 10, and I mean, really, I could have went on. I could have did a top 20 list with this, but top 10, I'm gonna say number 10 is Commando. Really like that movie. Kickboxer, one of my all-time favorite Van Dammes. Between that and Bloodsport. Number 8, I went with Lethal Weapon, the first one. Just because of it was a new, at the time it was a new movie. You never seen anything like that before, and it really worked out really well on there. Number 7 was Aliens, the second one with the Marines. Love that movie. 6, which I know people gonna have this. I know a couple people had this higher, but Die Hard was the number 6.
I actually thought you would have that in the top 2. I thought you'd have that in the top 3.
If it didn't have so many sequels to it, man, to kind of water it down, I probably would have it probably would have been higher. But with as many sequels as it was, and I'm not saying the sequels are bad, but they wasn't as good as still to me as the first one, with Hans Gruber as the main villain.
The party, pal.
Yeah. Number 5 is gotta be Conan.
Oh man, I forgot about Conan.
Yeah,
Red Sonja and all that. I forgot about that.
Tulsa Doom, man.
Tulsa Doom.
You gotta have that, man. I mean, that's an all time right there. Number 4 is Above the Law. Just for that scene in the bar alone when he puts his badge.
Oh, that's Out for Justice, man.
Oh yeah, that's Out for Justice. Above the Law was the
church.
The church. Yeah. Yeah. Number 3 is Big Trouble in Little China. Just because of the whole low pan, the thunder, cloud, thunder, rain, all of it. I mean, the whole thing. I love that movie from beginning to end. I can sit down and watch it. Number 2 is actually Rambo, the second one.
I told you, Al. Told you. That's what I had. That doggone second Rambo, man. When they left him.
That was rough, man. When he got on that mic, man, and you heard it, and that thunder, and he just started squeezing the mic. And he was like, I'm coming for you, Murdoch. I'm coming for you. That's my number 2. And, of course, my all-time number 1 is the very first Predator.
No Terminator, man?
No. I can't.
What? I just knew you were going to have Terminator on that list.
Didn't have time. Predator, man. Predator's my all-time favorite. I can sit down. I know the lines in Predator from beginning to end. I can sit down and watch it. Every time they come on TV, I'll turn it on and watch it. Even though I have it on like DVD and Blu-ray and special edition and everything else, I can sit down and watch it every time it come on TV.
What about when him and Arnold Schwarzenegger and Carl Weathers, man, the arm wrestling, man.
I mean, there's so many iconic scenes in that movie, man. That I mean, you have Billy. I mean, you got the guy. The next movie is being directed by old boy with the glasses. The first victim that got killed in the Predator movie is actually the guy Michael Ian Black.
Okay,
he's the guy that's directing the new movie that's coming out. And he was the first victim in the first Predator movie on there for it. So I kind of have high hopes for it. Hopefully it'll be all right.
What was that movie? There was another movie, kung fu movie in the 80s, man. I think it came out in the 80s. That video game, and you know what I'm talking about. The video game it was Bowling Point. What was it? What's the name of that?
Who was in it?
Was it the movie the Shaw Brothers did? What was that movie?
Hard Boiled?
Hard Boiled. Didn't that come out in the 80s?
I mean,
Or are we talking 90s?
I think that was 90s.
Yeah, that's Chow Yun Fat, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
Chow Yun
Chow Yun
Fat.
Yeah,
Fat. Yeah.
that was the
That
90s.
was
Okay, all right. Okay, I
the
can
Tequila
remember.
Man. That was a bad man.
Yeah, he was. Oh, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about that game that came out for the 360. It was like Max Payne.
Yeah,
Is that that's
That's
the
the
one you're
hardcore.
talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
yeah.
okay.
They
the
actually
movie
did a
because it
game
came with the
based
movie.
on the movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, that's our top 10 list. We'll catch Xavier. Xavier will be joining us tonight, so we'll get his before the show ends. Let's go ahead and let's get ready to hop into the world of comic books, and we're gonna go ahead and just get straight. We're transitioning. Perfect. Perfect. We do that every week. We gotta do the rundown. We do that every week. Transitioning. All
Right
right.
on.
Let's get to the elephant in the room. And I was hoping Larry would join us for this scene, but not for this scene, but for this particular topic. Uh, the Image beatdown is in full effect. Image is dropping hit after hit after hit after hit after hit after hit, and Marvel is playing second fiddle to Image, DC, and then in certain cases, even third-party comics like Aftershock
Aftershock and Boom,
and Boom,
Black Mask.
Black Mask. I mean, Black Mask is a small studio, so the book. I mean, this and this to kind of segue into our new segment. Just let's take a look at Rednecks, and I'm not going to spoil it for folks who hadn't read the book, but the premise of the book is absolutely genius. Let's look at God Country, genius. Let's look at Killer Be Killed, genius. TC, correct me if I'm wrong. Regression, that's Image Comics, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Another hit. That's already a hit.
It's
They already
coming.
talking about it. A hit that's coming.
Old
Uh,
Country. Yeah,
Old Guard.
the Old
Old
Guard,
Guard.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's another hit. Uh, what's this coming out Sunday? TC, American Gods.
American Gods. Yeah.
That's Image, right?
No, I say
Actually, that's Dark Horse that's
That's
doing
Dark Horse.
Yeah.
So you see, but it continues the theme of other studios are putting out hit after hit after hit. And I'll tell you what is the intriguing thing about this is that these in the video game world we would call these new IPs, but in the comic book world, these are new stories that with new characters, with new plots that you hadn't seen before. So it's not like you're having to dig in the crate and just kind of keep rehashing the same thing that you're seeing. And so you're getting good authentic stories with good writers. And I think that's the difference that is what's chewing Marvel up is that you got these young and you got and in certain cases you've got well-known writers and guys who've been in the industry for a while are putting out new material that is really, really captivating the reader. And quite frankly, I think Rednecks and God Country is they're gonna be battling out for Book of the Year, and that's just in my opinion.
So you know it's the same. You know it's the same author on both of them, right?
Yeah, it's Cotty.
Yeah.
I think it's
Coat. Yeah.
Coat. Yeah,
Coat. Yeah.
Al. This is something I know that's near and dear to you. I know you eat this up. So,
Well, I'm gonna tell you like this, man. We all have shared our thoughts on this, and X is good to see you, brother.
What's going on?
Not a whole lot, homie. But anyway, we've talked about this in detail, man. You know, of my pull list, that's look, it's a refreshing drink, man. Good lord. But anyway, we talked about this, man, in detail on the hall. All these refreshing drinks, good lord. Okay, but we've talked about this in detail, man, as far as the Image situation. I mean, at this particular point in time, man, the way I see it, I would consider, even though they're not really considered one of like one of the biggest publishing companies, Image is right now being poised to become the next DC or Marvel in terms of books. The thing with Image, man, is that they are not, um, they don't shy away from taking risks when it comes down to their books. I've seen the whole library. Now, don't get me wrong, they have a slew of titles: Outcast, Southern Bastards, Bitch Planet, Saga, Walking Dead, Invincible, God Country, The Old Guard, Magdalena. They have a ton of books. They have a ton of titles. East meets West. Some of them are hits. Some of them miss. Black Monday Murders, which, by the way, that's about to start kicking back up this summer.
Thief
But
of Thieves.
yeah, Thief of Thieves. I mean, they got a lot of books, man, and it's like at this particular juncture, they are poised to actually really make some moves. I mean, to have a book like, for example, God Country, the first printing is actually now worth more than any of the variants, but they're on the fourth printing of the first issue of the first book. I think they're on the third printing of the second book, the second printing or the third printing of issue 3, and I want to say they're on the second printing of issue 4. Um, Redneck's pretty much sold out everywhere. I mean, everywhere. And then of course they're coming out with the variant, which in my opinion is a nice looking cover, which I'm definitely going to pick up. At the end of the day, man, you look at it and you see, okay, well, you got established companies like DC, Marvel, of course, then you got your other ones like Dark Horse, IDW. They're doing their thing. I think right now, Image has found this niche. They're staying in their lane. They're not trying to come up with the next Hulk. They're not trying to come up with the next Spider-Man. But if that happens in a book that they come out with, then so be it. Like I was saying earlier, they're not afraid to take risks, and a lot of the stuff is hit or miss. But that's the same with all the companies, DC and Marvel. Right now, I feel like Marvel, they're floundering. Marvel holds a near and dear place to my heart because that's what I grew up collecting, Marvel comics. But as of right now, I would have to say, just looking at my pull list, aside from the Secret Empire that's coming out, uh, I might continue to pick up Xmen Gold because I was pleased with the first issue. But other than that, I don't see anything in that whole in their new books or any of the older books that I'm interested in getting. But Image, man, we've talked about this. The Dadgum Rednecks, the first printing for that book now is skyrocketing. It's like $14-15 now. 2 weeks ago or last week when it dropped, it was cover price. When I bought it at my local comic store. We didn't even talk about the ash can. That ash can that we got, man, that thing is probably like $50-60 now. We paid 20 for hours. So the value of their books is pretty much going to continue to continue to rise. I have yet to see a dip in price for The Walking Dead. I have yet to see a dip in price in Saga 1. I have yet to see a dip in price in Killer Be Killed or what's the other book? I can't think of the other book, the Outcast book that Robert Kirkman does. So I think for a comic, as far as a collector is concerned, your best bet right now is to just, stick to the speculation sites. If you are out there and you collect comic books or you're new to comic books and you want to just get into something, try Image out first. And just speaking from an unbiased standpoint, and I'm gonna be done. I'm gonna have to say Image. If you want to look at the top 3, because I consider Image one of the top boys right now, I would say Image, DC, Marvel, and then of course you got your Black Mask and Boom and Dynamite and IDW. But yeah, if you want to get into something from the ground up, something not only that might be worth a little money down the road as far as an investment, but just for a good read, just check out Image. Image got some stuff. They got some for that, what. So, and I'm done.
All right. Xavier, glad to have you on the panel, my friend.
What's going on?
All right, all right. Good to see you. TC. I think TC stepped away for a second. He's draft watching. So we're going
another draft. My running back just got drafted.
Yeah. So Mr. The resident, we got the Dallas fan and the Redskin fan on the same panel. So, all right, Xavier, your thoughts on Image Comics, my friend?
I mean, I can't really speak too much about the image. I mean, I will agree with you all just from what I've been seeing and reading. They are definitely, well, you can't even call it a sleeper anymore because they're coming up fast. You know, the only book that I really collect, two books really, are Kill or Be Killed and The Walking Dead. But just seeing the stuff that they're bringing out and the validity of it is top notch stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I just personally, I just think that Image just has a good quality product right now, and they're just capitalizing on just fresh new ideas and fresh new stories. And whereas we're seeing, as Al said, Marvel kind of floundering, by reinventing the wheel over and over and over and over instead of just coming out with fresh new content. So we're gonna go ahead and move into our next segment, and hopefully we can get Tony over here because I know he'll love this. This is our new segment on what's on fire in the comic world, and kind of alluded to it earlier. The book to have now, if you're collecting and if you're speculating, you would definitely want to get your hands on Redneck #1, the Ashcan variant. That thing is on fire. Uh, Namwolf, which was released yesterday, uh, is another comic that's getting ready to start catching fire. And after Sunday, American Gods is probably going to be another book that's going to be, I'd almost say, unattainable once that show comes out. And I'm trying to think, are there any other major books? Number one, Seven to Eternity, #1 is I mean that's $150 book. It's only been 8 months since maybe 9 months since the book was out, and we're talking about the first print. That's a book we left off that list just a few minutes ago. Seven to
Yep,
Eternity.
sure did.
I think Seven to Eternity was Comic of the Year last year, close to it. So those are the hot books right now to have if you are collecting. You definitely want to go ahead and pick up those images. Once again, most of those are all image books. So I mean, it just goes to prove a point that the image is they're just bringing it, man. They're bringing it and consistently too, consistently. All right, so Al, any thoughts on that? Anything in there you want to speak on?
Well, like I said, man, it just goes back. I mean, everything in reference to anything, man, is up to conjecture, and everybody, has their opinions. The articles that I've read in reference to the issue, there's a lot of praise being heaped on Image right now for, like I said, them taking risks for what they're doing in the comic book world. And it's not even an issue of reinventing the wheel, like you said. I mean, when you have a company like DC or Marvel, for that matter, with a storied history of characters, with some of the best storylines that have ever played out in the history of comic bookdom, you have to be in a position to where you have to be taking notice to this. Of course, yeah, they don't have anything to worry about because Marvel could put out a book about the Avengers meeting up with the Cabbage Patch Kids or something, and somebody gonna buy it, But at the end of the day, is it really worth something of quality? I know we're not on this, but just to quickly segue into something that we've been talking about. The word got out that Marvel is going to go back to the old renumbering again. And y'all remember we used to talk about this. We talked about it on a couple of shows where it doesn't make any sense for them to continue to reboot their issues back to #1 every time a new artist or a new writer comes on the scene. And I think that's been taken away a lot of their shine because, when a #1 comes out, like, for example, God Country or Walking Dead, that 9 times out of 10, Image is not going to go back and redo a #1 of God Country because #1 God Country is already out. That's what adds to the value of the book. Okay, God Country #1, if you go on eBay, the first printing of that book is about what, $25, $30? That
Yep.
book's been out for how long, man? It's not even been out as long as 7 to eternity.
Yeah, I mean, it's maybe 7. Maybe we talk probably 6 months.
Right. So you got a book that is from a company, Image Comics, compared to a #1 that came out from Marvel from around the same time frame. But the difference as far as the disparity between the value of this Image book from the Marvel comic book is going to be astronomical. And the reason why is because there's more value placed in a #1 book for Image or Aftershock Animosity, for example, than you would to see a book from Marvel. I mean, even DC with the Rebirth thing, they pretty much turned the page and decided, hey, we're gonna start being more concerned about stories. And I hope we talk about it tonight.
Yeah,
They knocking it out. They knocking it out the park with that Rebirth thing, man. It ain't too much of nothing that Rebirth is doing that I've been reading that I can see anything wrong with it. And I'm a Marvel fan from early in my life, but that Rebirth is not a fad. So whatever they're doing, they're going to continue to do it, and I hope they continue to do it from here on out. So,
well, the thing about DC, what DC did was DC, they had a come to Jesus moment.
Right.
I mean, they just basically said, you know what we're doing is not working. Let's do something different, and let's do what the people want. And this is it's like Marvel has got to a point where it's like, you know what, people go buy our stuff because it's Marvel anyway. And they've got kind of arrogant to a degree. And I think that arrogancy is starting to kind of catch up with them, and I think that if they don't, you know, succumb to what the people want, then they'll probably, as you said, probably slip down that list. And Marvel will probably come back up, but at this point, it's like watching the Yankees. And I'm just going to use the Yankees. For years the Yankees were running the game in baseball, and then now they're kind of floundering. They're kind of fumbling around trying to get themselves back on footing. And you got other teams that says, you know what, we'll step in and we'll show you how to run the show. And that's what you got with Marvel. Marvel is it's kind of still trying to. I mean, just look. You got and I use this as an example. You've got the Crew. And now you're relaunching Luke Cage. Again, which you just had a 3-part series not even 4 months ago. So for a 4-part series 4 months ago. So you've already moved up 2 or 3 volumes already, and you got people scratching their head. And not only did you do that, but you've redesigned Luke Cage.
Right.
You give him a whole new look. And then you put him in a group. It's just kind of like me and Tony were talking about this Sunday. You put him in this group, and you put this group together, and it doesn't even make sense to even have that group together. And there's no explanation for it. Nobody really understands, well, what the hell is going on here? And that's the kind of stuff that's kind of irritating, And I hear this talk when I'm at the store with Will. People are becoming irritated with this kind of stuff. And people are spending money. And let me go ahead and throw this out there, man. Marvel books are not cheap. You talking about $5 books, man, $5 and $6 books. Whereas I can pay $2.99 or $2.50, and in some cases $1.99, depending on what you're buying from other publishers. So if I'm putting 4, 5, 6, and if it's a variant, 10, anywhere from 10 up, into a Marvel book, then it needs to be something of statue. But when I looked at the list yesterday, and Xavier was with me, I really didn't see anything. And I didn't even buy a Marvel book yesterday.
Right.
And he was there. He saw. I didn't pick up one Marvel book yesterday, and it was just it's nothing there. So
yeah, I don't think I saw you pick one up. Period.
I picked up a book, but it wasn't a Marvel book.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I didn't see you pick up a Marvel book at all.
No, I mean, there's nothing there. TC, we're talking about the what's hot, what's going on, man. Any thoughts on? And we know that TC is the Oracle.
I wish I was the Oracle.
Yeah, he is the Oracle. Well, he's the man that got us all the rednecks.
I mean, it's like y'all just sit here talk about, man. It's a lot of stuff that it's just relaunching the same thing over and over again. And I know y'all probably already talked about it, but like you said, with like Image and stuff, it's new stories, it's new characters, it's new everything. It's something that you hadn't seen before. Whereas with Marvel, you see the same thing over and over. But my my big pick as far as for upcoming comics would probably be with comic that's actually already out. It's probably American Gods. I think it's going to blow up if the show is successful. Which, from what I've heard from the critics and seen from the hype behind it, everybody loves it. They say it's like a Game of Thrones style drama to it, as far as the interesting characters that come on there. So I think it's going to blow up. Which the number one has already come out like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and then I think it's going to blow up on there. And then the other one that you mentioned, I believe last week, was the was it Minotaur?
Yeah, Minotaur came out last week.
I think it's going to look, because I didn't know there was an ash can variant for that. They actually did that on there. So I think it's gonna be one of those comics too that once it gets a following, it's gonna blow up pretty big. Because I went back and looked at a few of the older stuff that released earlier, man, and looking at like a Seven to Eternity or like a Saga comic from like the early editions of it. I mean, the prices are insane to try to even pick up one of those.
Xavier?
The only thing that I'm gonna switch back over to DC, but not Batman or anything like that. But I think when Bane's comic comes out, that's gonna be a big thing because it'll be the first time that he ever had his own standalone comic, and it's been a long time coming.
Yeah, I agree. The only thing about the Bane comic is that they went ahead and told us from the beginning that it's only going to be like, I think it's 12 issues for it.
Yeah, 12.
That's really, I mean, I wish they would do more, but I mean,
But
they told us from the get go that it's only 12 issues, and then they can go from there.
right. And in addition to that, if I may add now, because it's 12 issues, and being that it's the first time that you're seeing a Bane book, that could actually add to the overall mystique of the book,
Right.
you know, and as far as value wise. And going back to Image right quick, it's kind of like that conversation that TC brought up when I was brokenhearted to find out that God Country is only going to go, what, 6 issues? That story is too good for it to just go to 6 issues, man. And I thought it was going to be an ongoing comic, but you know, who knows? They might change it up to where we get more than 6 issues. But even still, with as popular as God Country is right now, even if it does just end at 6 issues, that's probably going to be like a very coveted series down the road, you know. And one thing that you said, Matt, too, that I'm taking notice of, when you're looking at these, you know, right now, one of the biggest trends in television now is to try to find a comic book property and make it out of a TV show. And I think Image is probably going to be that particular comic book company that a lot of these producers and television persons, or whatever you want to call them, are going to be looking at. I have a feeling, like you said, Matt, I have a feeling maybe within the next year, we're probably going to see a Redneck show. And of course, you know, when that happens, the book is already hot property now. I can see that book being as hot as Walking Dead #1, like real talk.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a good premise behind the whole story.
It had to be on HBO.
Yeah, I mean, and you know what?
But it would be perfect for HBO.
Exactly,
Right.
you took the words right out of my mouth. I was scared to say that'd be a perfect show. Which, you know, we'll talk about this later on. I feel like Walking Dead would have been a better show.
Oh,
Looking at it in retrospect,
definitely.
now HBO bid on it when it came. I believe that The Walking Dead would be a 10 times better show.
They would have had the funding behind it. I know that.
Yeah. So
I am getting worried as far as with the comics and TV shows that I think the market's going to get kind of oversaturated in the coming years for it. Because if you look at the lineup of what's coming out next year, I mean, you got a lot of lot of comic book movies.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
but the difference is that you got the hero comic book movies, and then you have like Walking Dead or like even Redneck, if they ever did that for a show, or like American God. That's more of a storytelling rather than somebody with superpowers doing anything such as that on that for it. So I think that's going to be a big difference in what is going to be different from movies compared to TV shows on there for it. But I am getting worried that it's going to flood the market with all the movies coming out, because you got Fox coming out, throwing out everything. You got Sony. You got
Well, you know,
Marvel.
Fox is gonna throw out garbage anyway. We
True.
know
True.
Fox. We don't even have to guess. We know outside of Deadpool that everything else is garbage.
I think, you know what though? I mean, Fox may have found the right formula for their
And
movies.
Logan.
With Logan and Deadpool, with the way those, how successful those were, and they're just gonna say, you know what, man, just go all out and don't hold back anything. They might actually have found a formula to what they can do.
I think they're gonna fall back into their old ways,
Who's
especially bringing
those?
out Supernova.
It can, because they're going back into the X-Men realm, which we know their batting average for that is like 100 at this point. Because I mean,
And the wrong
Hey,
100.
I'm talking
Yeah.
Andrew Jones type stuff.
Out of 1,000, they're batting like 100 out of 1,000 at this point with their movies. So, and they're going back into that direction with their future movies. But I mean, you got Sony; they're coming out with they want to create their own universe with Spider-Man, and you still got Marvel coming out with their stuff, and then you got DC who's pushing out their stuff too.
So, go ahead.
Well, let me just say this, and I know we got to move on, but I'm with you in that regards, TC, regarding the oversaturation. I think what's going to happen, and I think what's going to be the determining factor for most of these shows being successful, is the actual property itself. Now, and the reason why I say that is because, of course, you got a runaway show coming, you got a Cloak and Dagger show coming.
Titans.
You got Titans. I think it's a mad dash for a lot of these producers and these channels to try to find that next big thing. They're trying to find their own version of The Walking Dead. You know what I'm saying? So I think the crux of everything is pretty much going to be whatever property you decide to make out of a TV show, whether or not that property is going to stick, whether or not the fans are going to be receptive to it. And I think with a show like, Rednecks, I think, or either Kill or Be Killed for that matter, just throwing something out there, even Animosity for that matter. I mean, the premise behind those books would actually warrant, like, yeah, man, that'll be a great TV show. But I don't have like faith in a Cloak and Dagger show, especially if you're gonna make that out of a teen emo angst type show. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, I'm serious, because you read the articles about the Cloak and Dagger, man. It's not the Cloak and Dagger really from the comic book. It's gonna be a bunch of crap. But so I mean, go ahead.
It's teeny bopper. It's designed
the main thing about Cloak and Dagger, man, that you got to look at is look at what channel it's on, and that's what you got to look at. It's Freeform, which I think formerly it was
ABC Family, right?
ABC Family. Yeah. So it's not gonna be what you think it is.
It's not gonna be
garbage.
Yeah, right. It's not gonna be designed for us. Let's put it like that. Right. We're not watching.
It's for, and like you said, it's for teens. It's for teeny boppers.
I mean, we could be surprised, because everybody's trying to do different things too.
They are. I mean, and if there's an audience for that, then you know what? I wish them the best of luck with it.
Yeah.
No. Well, I'll tell you what. As far as if I was a producer and I'm charged with trying to find a property to kind of put something together, I can tell you right now, I would be a production meeting zone, figuring out how can we get Kill or Be Killed on television, because that is top grade TV. Yeah, I mean, it would have to be. Well, it would be. You can pull it off on AMC, but it have to be the late block. It have to be that 11 o'clock, 11 o'clock block.
I need that to be.
But you want it to be comic book authentic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It wouldn't do that. It wouldn't do that storyline any justice if it was on anything but a premium network channel.
Yeah,
I agree.
I agree
and
with
let's
that.
and let's throw this out there too, because Game of Thrones is winding down.
Yeah.
So don't be surprised that HBO starts cashing in on a couple of these properties. And if TC's theory is correct on Sunday with American Gods, they're probably going to be kicking themselves for not getting that, because they've got to find something. Because Game of Thrones, and I'm sorry, the what is this, with the Rock, that football show, that just no, that's not going. Yeah, Ballers just ain't,
I
that ain't
watched.
cutting.
Well, you
I
know,
watched 10 minutes of that
you know,
show.
HBO originally passed on.
The Walking Dead.
Walking Dead.
They passed on Walking Dead, and they passed on American Gods. Because they tried to get American Gods done, I think 2 or 3 years ago, and they passed on it.
For what is it, Westworld?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now Westworld's that's an awesome show.
It's good, but it feels like that show is good, but it's like we've been there, done that, seen it, something else, and they just elevated it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
And don't forget, Netflix is still out there too. Hulu's getting in the game. So I mean, it's a
DC
lot of,
their own thing coming too.
yeah. So I mean, it's a lot of room for this, and it just remains to be seen. It's just a matter of what target demographic that are you trying to touch with
Right.
whatever show or movie that you are looking at putting out. So
Hey,
all right,
here's one thing that I'm surprised nobody mentioned was y'all, I don't know, I'm pretty sure TC, if you heard about it, but there's this big Hollywood writers block that's supposed to be coming soon, and I think that's why we're being over saturated um with these superhero TV shows and whatnot, because they want to try to get it out there and get all the buzz around it to try to keep these people from going on strike.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like all they got to do is say that it's coming. It doesn't mean that it's coming soon. They just want it out there so it
put it out
can
there.
sit there and bring people like, okay, I want to see this, just to try to give the writers some leeway and be like,
Yeah.
hey, it would be appreciated. We don't need to go on strike. They need to go ahead and give us our money and we'll be good. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
All right. Well, we're gonna slip right on in here, and let's move to uh the other elephant in the room, which is I'm not, and I can't remember. Correct me if I'm wrong, fellas. I don't think we discussed Xmen Gold last show.
No.
We did not. Okay, when we were doing a rundown, I couldn't remember. Xmen Gold, the Xmen Gold Rush is fully on. This is a book that is consistently holding at $20 a pop. I got word from Weldon yesterday. Weldon called me and told me that he hadn't realized what was going on, and he said, "Why is Xmen Gold number one $25 at Hero the Villain?" And I said, "Where have you been at? Where have you been?
What
Clearly,
rock?
you have not been paying attention to what's going on around you, my friend."
He ain't been online or anything.
At all.
So what you have here is, thanks to some hot coffee, as I like to always refer to it, you've got a book that's probably going to continue to grow over time. And if you've not gotten Xmen Gold, shame on you, because and it's a lot of people that like Weldon, they still don't know that it's a hot a hot property. And I mean, it's amazing to see how much that book is going for. And God forbid you got some of the variants.
Yep.
So, that's crazy. And then this is the thing. I didn't realize it until this week. TC put in the group that this guy's gonna be doing a couple other more books.
Right.
So don't be surprised if 2, 3, and 4 start going up as well, especially if they got good cover art.
Mm-hmm.
So you definitely want to make sure that if you and I read Xmen Blue, and I've read a little bit of Xmen Gold, and they're decent reads.
Yeah.
So especially for Marvel at this point in the game,
Right.
decent reads for Marvel. So you definitely want to pick them up. I mean, and they're going up in value. I don't see the comic book going down, because when you get hot coffee like that, and it's a first print, and if they go take it out, that's going to increase it even more. So I mean, that's a book to have.
I agree, man. I got 2 other variants. Well, I show y'all in the hall, but I did want that Jim Lee, but somebody is supporting a crack habit or something. But anyway, um, but anyway, I agree, man. I was actually, because I told y'all, man, from the rip, I wasn't too enthused because I really hated Marvel's treatment of its Mayor Band of Mutants for quite some time. And it seems like all of a sudden they did a 180-degree turn. Now, Larry Crocker, which I wish was on the show this evening, he kind of like had faith in the Allspark or whatever you want to call it for Marvel. And at that particular time, he had faith that they were going to do right by the X-Men. But at one point it was looking bleak for
not the fake matrix of leadership.
Yeah, one of them. But yeah, he was faithful and true. But I mean, I didn't read Blue because I don't really too much care about that particular team of X-Men. But like Matt said, Gold is actually a decent read. It was. I like the build up to it. I didn't pick up number 2. I should have got it while I was at the store today, but I didn't. But I'll probably pick that up. Not trying to spoil anything for anyone, so I won't. But yeah, it remains to be seen whether or not it's going to stay that way. But with that whole controversy with the artist and if you don't know or aren't familiar with what we're talking about, one of the artists, I can't remember, Saeed something, he actually put some some stuff in the book that was pretty much anti-U.S., anti-Christian, anti-Jew, whatever, anti-Semitic, and he pretty much put it some information, Quran scriptures and whatnot. One of them is on the front of a grocery store. The other one is on one of my favorite characters' shirt, Colossus. And once that actually came out, those books were flying off the shelves like
he oversaturated it.
Yeah, they were flying off the shelves. So now, which was once a $3.99 book, is now, like Matt said, about $25. But um, the good thing for us, though, as far as comic collectors, is that those are the type of books that, over time, once the actual prints run down and dwindle, and they end up getting thrown away or the dog chews them up, that tends to increase the value of the books that are still in circulation. And I will say this, and then I'm done. And, I was reading in one of the groups that we're in on Facebook, they were talking about, well, there's so many books out there. It's so many books. How could this book stay so high in value? My answer to that is pretty much 3 words, and that's New Mutants 98.
Yeah.
New Mutants 98, when that book was dropped, it was probably about, I want to say 2 million of them printed. And, you can't find that book now at least a grade 5 or 6 for no less than $200, $300. So, even though the market was flooded with New Mutants 98, you would be hard pressed unless you went to a yard sale or to a mom and pop store who has no clue of how much that book is worth, finding that book for less than, like I said, $150, $200 plus dollars. So I think that particular book has the potential of increasing in value as time progresses, especially based on the content. So,
All right. Let's go over to last night's return of the anticlimactic Flash to close out,
and Arrow
to close out this season
Arrow came back on.
of the Flash.
You ain't messed up.
Before I could even, there's nothing there. You hadn't missed anything. If you hadn't watched it, last night's episode,
More crying.
if you saw it, you've seen them all.
I mean, we can speculate.
crying.
We can sit here and speculate on who Savitar is. I mean, that's the real big question.
Hey, man.
Of the internet world.
Yeah, I mean, I saw article after article today about Savitar. Who is Savitar?
Some saying it's Ronnie. Some saying it's Cisco. Some saying it's Barry.
I think it's Ronnie.
I think it's Cisco.
I honestly think it's Ronnie, man.
I think it's Mr. T.
A lot of people think it's Cisco because they think Cisco could actually build the suit himself
But see, that's the thing right there. That's why I think it was Ronnie, because a lot of people were going off saying, well, Savitar's supposed to be the first. He was supposed to be the first speedster, and from what I remember in the show, he never said that he was the original speedster. He was like the first man, like the first speedster of man.
Yeah.
And that just means he's not a metahuman, so he created the technology and he was the first to do it
And we hadn't seen that Ronnie since
in a long time.
season 1. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
if you look at it, the Earth twos and whatnot, they kept every time they went somewhere else, they kept pushing um Caitlyn and Ronnie being together. So once I saw that pretty much told me that it was Ronnie, but I've been wrong before.
I mean,
Killer Frost.
you got some questions though. I mean, because the thing is that from my understanding, did Wally actually find out who he was with that, and just left him in that catatonic state where he was just sitting there, wouldn't talk to anybody, nothing like that?
They kept. Go ahead.
But no, I'm just wondering that, because I mean, if there's somebody that he knew, and it just shocked him so much, then I'm thinking that maybe it's not Ronnie, because he doesn't know who Ronnie is at all.
I mean, from what I gathered, the boy's back was destroyed,
Right.
and that alone can put you in the shock right there. And then you can't you just sat here and spent all this time trying to hone your skills, and you done sent Bear to the future and this that, and the other. You on cloud 9, and for you to just get destroyed like that, it really wouldn't matter who beat you, because they just took away all your power, and you don't want to live on no more.
I've also heard that it could be a very further in the future.
I don't think it's Barry.
The cavalry's here.
What?
Overwatch fans, y'all know what that is.
Yeah, I think it'd be too obvious if it was Barry.
That's what they keep saying, that you're your own worst enemy when they talking to Barry and saying it's his fault and he's doing all this to himself. And I mean, you still got to think that there is. I mean, we haven't seen all the characters from the Flashpoint yet, and he's from Flashpoint, because I mean, all the characters that we saw so far are from Flashpoint. We saw Wally, we saw Killer Frost.
Right.
I mean, we've seen a lot of the characters come through. So I'm thinking he's still connected with the Flashpoint. And if people are either saying that it's either the Barry, like the doppelganger Barry from the Flashpoint, or it's actually going to be his dad from that point, which they wouldn't make any sense for him to come back and kill her.
Here's another thing though. Everybody blames Barry for everything. I mean, granted, every time he go up in the past, he messes things up. But going all the way back to season 1 before he went in the past, everybody blamed him for Ronnie dying.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? With him doing what he did, that is a part of what caused Ronnie to die. So every time he goes back, who's to say that the first time he went back, that Ronnie didn't come back, and he's been planning this since then? You know what I'm saying? And he just got caught up in the Speed Force, and he finally found his way out through the Philosopher's Stone.
But he also cost Cisco his brother.
Yeah. And he cost Cisco his hands too.
Yeah. So that's why I'm thinking that it could be Cisco that built that suit, came back from the future, and did all this to him to get revenge back on him. But I don't.
My vote is for Cisco. I believe Cisco. So we'll see next season.
But here's the thing, though. Why would she be so submissive to Cisco when she just sat there and tried to kill Cisco?
Because it's the Flash. And it's the show that's ran its course for the whole year. And I told y'all that it was too drawn out, too long. So that's why. And I mean, the same reason that you saw Mirror Master get manhandled in one episode.
Hey, yo, I did like how Future Flash like literally just threw him through the window instead of just trying to like just gently
Yep.
run him through.
Yeah. I mean,
That's what I was saying. He
you
need to
should see
have that
every week.
attitude, man.
Yeah, every week.
The highlight of the show was the suit, the new suit that
Yeah.
Future Flash had. That
Yeah.
I
was
still don't like that it was leather, but okay, so be it.
Yeah.
Leather
He
ain't
want
that
to
friction.
get his bondage on, man.
He didn't want to bring out the gimp, did he?
Yeah.
Guilt mask.
All right, so let's move on, fellas. Now I did not watch the show on Monday, but Xavier, you are the resident Batman. Did you watch Gotham this week?
Damn Gotham.
Okay, all right. So that's
I
pretty
watched
much.
it. It was the only thing good about that show was Nigma becoming the Riddler. You know, that was the only good thing about it. I'm tired of everything else that they did because
Did he actually call himself the Riddler?
yes,
Okay.
at the very end. Like he done already told Lucius Fox who he is.
Okay, well let's move on.
Yeah.
So with that, it's time to go ahead and move on. We're gonna leave that right where it's at.
Exactly.
We're gonna rework things here on our rundown. I'm gonna go ahead and hop into this. This is me and Al's territory here. Al, TC, we've seen the footage for Marvel vs. Capcom and Infinite.
How you gonna leave me out like that? Like
Xavier, I forgot you. Like I'm sorry, but you know I know.
Great day.
I'm sorry, Xavier, but
Nah, that's okay. I'm not important.
I mean, you got Injustice 2 coming out too, man. You got to don't forget Injustice.
yeah,
Right.
I saw that Black Adam, man. That look. I saw the trailer today, man. I was like, oh, that looks pretty doggone good.
Yo, Brainiac look like
Yeah,
Doc Ock.
I was like, it looks pretty. Now I don't know if I'm buying it day one, but I might get that on the what we call the Christmas sale.
I will.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I'll be getting that on the Steam clearance Christmas sale.
I'm gonna have to have it day one because Junior's gonna want to play it too.
So let's look at Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Infinite.
This is my Infinite. Excuse me, I'm sorry. My that tells you what my mind is with Marvel. What I recognize is Marvel vs. Capcom. No, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. I talked with TC on Sunday. He asked me, is that a day one buy for me? I told him I've got to see a solid roster list, and I got to see what they're talking about with this season pass stuff again. I'm telling you, if it's less, then what was that number we put out there early this year, Al?
40.
40. Oh.
Yeah, if it's less than 40 out the gate, I'll be waiting to get it. I'm not buying it day one.
And
Which I have.
It's 6 DLC characters.
See, that's what I'm talking about right there, Al. This is why I want to have this on here. Why are you coming out with 6 DLC characters? Just put them in the damn game, man.
That's what they did with 3.
Yeah, same thing.
Except, what was it, 4 or was it 6 with 3?
It was 6.
It was 6.
On that one.
It was Doctor Strange.
But the thing about it is that they sold it as a whole new game. They didn't sell it as DLC.
Right.
Well, you know what was supposed to happen when they did Marvel vs. Capcom 3? The plan is that those other 6 characters from Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 was supposed to be DLC.
Yeah.
Some happened with, I think that was during the time where the earthquake or something happened over there at the Capcom headquarters over in Japan.
Yeah.
And they kind of scratched it. So when they finally got back to task, they decided it was better to just go ahead and throw everything on and repackage it. Plus, if you think about it, which I hate Capcom for this, but I don't blame them because it's strategic genius, they'd actually make more money with a brand new game than they would with just adding DLC to an existing game.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why they did it, the bastards.
Unlike Street Fighter 5.
Oh God, we ain't even talking about that.
See, that's why right there. What he just said is why I'm watching this with a I mean, I'm watching it with a hawk's eye, man, because Capcom has that tendency, man, to come out with these games and then they're gonna nickel and dime you down. And this is a franchise that, okay, you got me back on Marvel vs. Capcom, But doggone it, don't screw it up, man. It start with this half-ass gameplay, and I think they were so embarrassed by Street Fighter V that I do believe that they'll make some adjustments on this, because Street Fighter V really was a bad look, especially after announcing that that game was supposed to be a PlayStation exclusive.
Well, see, this is the thing too with Street Fighter V, man, is that they still keep churning out DLC for that game, and to this day, and MC, if you watching Chump, I don't see why you gonna give Capcom all your money like that, man. Talking about he gonna buy the extra costumes and crap. Man, you a chump for that, man. Chump. But anyway, I'm gonna tell y'all something straight up. I'm with y'all about that. I'm very stoked to see another Marvel's Capcom game. Y'all know we all love to play that particular game. But I will say this: gone are the days when we see 63 characters like we did on Marvel's Capcom 2. Because if Marvel's Capcom 2 came out today, we probably would have got 20 characters, and the other 43 would have been DLC that we had to pay for.
I mean, that's the truth. You're right. That's the truth.
Over the span of 2 years.
Over the 2 years, we would have just been getting Shuma Gorath in 2019.
And you got to remember, Marvel
Blackheart.
too, when you got it for Dreamcast, you had to actually play it.
Had to leave the system on.
Yeah.
There you go. Had to leave it on practice mode. Yep.
It wasn't just, okay, you just go in and just open it up. You had to actually play it. You had to put, like you said, put it in practice mode and just let it sit all day. And then
go to class and come back.
Turn around, do the same thing again. Yeah, I remember doing that.
So we'll see. On the DC side of things, I think that me personally, I feel like the game looks the same as last year. I just like the new characters.
Can I say something? I'm gonna tell y'all something. This is my biggest issue, and I'm gonna tell you, I like the first Injustice. Why you laughing, X?
I feel it. I feel it.
I'm gonna tell y'all something, man, and this is one of the biggest beefs I had with Street Fighter V amongst the plethora of other issues. I'm the type of person, right? Okay, I've gotten spoiled. These fighting games have spoiled me. I want to see more than one super in a game.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And I thought for sure that when they did Injustice, now that might be down the pipe. I don't know. But, you know, I was disappointed. The only thing I didn't like about Injustice was the fact that it had one super per person. Y'all could come up with something creative. Y'all gave us 2 fatalities in Mortal Kombat. Go ahead and throw some extra stuff in there for Injustice. Other than that, man, Injustice is a gorgeous game. The game looks great. The gameplay looks good. I hate Firestorm in Injustice 2. That is not the right. That Firestorm sucks, man. That ain't Firestorm. That's just a black dude that know how to throw fire out his hands. That's all it is.
I got a quick question, Al.
Yeah.
As far as the thing with not having multiple supers, isn't that something that's exclusive to Capcom?
No, because NetherRealm is, of course, the makers of Mortal Kombat.
Right.
If you look at Mortal Kombat X, everybody got at least 2 fatalities, a pit fatality, and then if you bought the DLC, like some of them had their MK2 and MK3 fatality. So I don't see why they couldn't have added additional supers. Now, you know, even if they did DLC, now that's, even though I feel like it should be in the game, if they did something like that and gave people an option to buy like extra supers, I could deal with that. You know what I'm saying? But that's my only issue with that Injustice game, is that you got just limited supers and stuff. But I will say this, that daggone Black Adam super was like the business, man.
So you talking about the X-ray itself?
Well, you know,
version of the X-ray, yeah.
Well, yeah, the super move, like for example, with Black Adam, he takes you to Egypt and throws you in a pyramid, and I guess he calls on the powers of Shazam, and it, you know. But anyway, I mean, I think each particular character should have at least 2 supers. That should be a prerequisite in all fighting games now. You should have at least 2 supers at your disposal. So if you want to vanquish somebody by throwing them in the sun, you can. But if you want to vanquish somebody by pounding them repeatedly with an A1 Abrams tank, you could do that too. That's all I'm saying. I'm done.
All right. We're going to move on. Next weekend, the Guardians will be here. Uh, I'll be going to see it on day one. Who's available next Friday? So,
I'll be
Al,
working.
you'll be
I'll be
working.
working.
TC, you going Thursday? You going Friday?
I'll probably be working, so I don't know.
Okay. So Xavier working.
I don't know yet.
Okay. So that leaves me and Larry. So we'll
But
probably go see it.
I don't know if I got to work security that Friday.
Okay. So if you don't, then it'll be me, you, and Larry. So we'll check it out. So I mean, it's Guardians of the Galaxy. You know it's gonna be good. It's just a question of what's all gonna be, all the goodies that's gonna be
Right.
in the box. Al.
No, I was just throwing up 5, not the $5 foot long, but 5 post-credit scenes, which is unheard of for any Marvel movie. I remember 2, but not 5.
You know what it is, man. You know what those post credits. It's gonna be like those old
It's
Jackie
got to set
Chan
up. It's got to set up
police
a lot of
stories.
stuff. Yeah.
It's gonna be those old Jackie Chan police story type stuff, which should have been on that list. Which should have been on our
It's
A's.
gonna
Top
set up a
10.
lot of stuff, man.
Y'all already did it?
Yeah, we still got you. We're gonna save yours for the end.
And from what I've heard, they're saying that they always keep saying the Marvel universe is gonna change after this movie and change after this movie, but they're saying after the next, not this one, but the next Guardians of the Galaxy movie, that it's supposed to completely change all over again.
That's because Feige not gonna be there no more.
Yeah.
Who?
Kevin Feige, he's not they're not even calling it Phase 4 anymore. It's just future Marvel movies.
They're not calling them phases. And they said a lot of the future movies are not gonna be they're not gonna do too many solo movies anymore. It's gonna be more of like a team up, like you see with Spider-Man and Iron Man in that Spider-Man Homecoming movie. But
Marvel team up movies, huh?
yeah, it's gonna be
Team up presents.
Yeah.
You're gonna have like Hulk and Thor, and
it's not even gonna be them. You know, it's gonna be like Captain Marvel and Ironheart and stuff like that. You know,
No, son.
Yeah,
Jane Foster as Thor and stuff like that. You know,
yeah, that's the direction we're going.
See that right there, man. I'm not knocking Captain Marvel, man, but I'm gonna tell you something. It's like somebody was talking about legacy characters. I mean, legacy characters is what have kept Marvel and DC afloat for all these years. So when you start, I mean, yeah, you want to go into a different direction as far as your movies, but honestly, I mean, do you? And this is no slight against Captain Marvel. It's no slight against Ironheart. But honestly, do you think an Ironheart movie at this particular time will rate or actually make more money with a movie with Tony Stark's in it, regardless of who playing Tony Stark? I don't think it would.
Nope.
So, I mean, there's a way that Marvel could do that without just saying, okay, well, we're going to just start putting Miss Marvel and the Young Nova and the Champions, minus Cyclops in movies and stuff. Amadeus Cho as the Hope. I don't think that would actually work, because even though, yeah, you want to do change, and we've talked about this as well, you still got to give, what brought you to the dance, that opportunities. And I don't think that those movies they might be successful, but would it actually, gross $1 billion around the world?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I mean, they're gonna have to, I understand what you're saying, but they're gonna have to make some changes. Just financially wise, they're gonna have to make some changes.
There you go, TC.
Yeah. They're not gonna be able to afford some of these people. Robert Downey Jr. is like one of the highest paid actors there is.
He is the highest, outside of Tom Hanks and Leonardo DiCaprio.
But and that, go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, he's demanding mega bucks for any kind of appearance in any of these movies.
Well, I mean, the best way to do that, man, if you're gonna do it, one of the easiest ways that Marvel could do that, man, is to possibly reboot or rebrand that particular franchise with another actor. Because at the end of the day, like I said, man, you're not going to have a box office draw for an Ironheart than you would for Iron Man. And I'm pretty sure that they could come up with somebody else to replace Robert Downey Jr. the role for Iron Man. Because, I mean, you think about this. you look at as far as what Marvel is talking about doing right now. They're supposed to be bringing back Bruce Banner in some capacity. They're supposed to be bringing back the original Wolverine in the comics in some type of capacity. They have learned that even though they got X-23, and while I hear her book is really good, ain't nothing like the original. There's nothing like the real.
Right.
I'm case in point. They killed Wolverine, right? About 2-3 years ago. And then when they did this Secret Wars thing, they combined a whole bunch of characters from different universes. Now, the Old Man Logan universe in the comic book was a separate universe in and of itself. It wasn't even considered in the Marvel universe. It was just like a one-shot book that Mark Miller wrote to basically give his take on Wolverine in a dystopian future.
Right.
So what did Marvel do? Marvel decided that they were going to incorporate that particular world into the mainstream Marvel universe, but they didn't bring any other character into the mainstream Marvel universe. But who? Old Man Logan. Now he got his own book, his own solo book. He's in the Weapon X book,
Yep.
and he's in Xmen Gold.
And a different version of him in X-Men Blue.
Right. So what was the point of killing off Wolverine when you still got Wolverine in some capacity in 3 or 4 different books? That logic is just, it doesn't make sense. They should just brought back the original Wolverine and put him in 20 books like they had him back in the day. That's all I'm saying. This is logic that doesn't make any sense to me.
I mean, they can do it, but the way they're moving, the way I can see where Marvel's moving, and Marvel's trying to move past the old school stuff that we know, the Iron Man and Captain America. They're trying to move on past that because they know that these actors are basically, they're running up at the end of their contract saying, well, you know what, I'm only going to play this character X amount more time, and more than likely they're just going to kill that character off.
But that's because of Robert Downey Jr.'s contract.
I mean, it is because of his contract, but Robert Downey Jr. is getting old. I mean,
Yeah.
He's been playing Tony Stark. I mean, you know what? Like
almost 20 years.
Anybody can play Iron Man as far as Iron Man, but there's not many people that can play.
Yeah, they can't play Tony Stark like he did.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's the problem.
So let me pose.
You got a drunken. Well, you have a former coked up millionaire playing a drunken billionaire.
Yeah, you have Tony Stark, a real life Tony Stark,
right?
Tony Stark.
So let me pose this question to the panel, and I would like each one of y'all to chime in. So knowing that what you know as far as Marvel wanting to go from the old guard to the new guard, X-23 was standing because, of course, they're not going to be able to use her because she's with Fox. What properties at this particular point do you suppose that Marvel would go to as their next cash cow? Because whatever they actually bring to the masses, it's going to have to be appealing enough to where people will want to go see it. In addition to that, I don't think that they have anybody aside from X3 and maybe Miss Marvel from the new guard that can actually, I mean, as far as their book sales, doing decent. But who else is there? Mosaic. I mean, his book is his book sucks.
You know what the thing about it is, man, is that they're actually doing that, man. Because if you look at like the Disney, I don't know if you watch like the Disney XD or any like Disney stuff like that. They're really moving away from like the old school traditional characters that me and you know, as far as Hulk, Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, and they're moving towards Miss Marvel, Inhumans, Guardians of the Galaxy, and they're pushing that more towards a younger audience who's growing up and watching this stuff now. I mean, you got to think, what year did the first Iron Man come out? Like 90, like 98?
99.
99?
The first Iron Man?
Yeah, the very first.
It was after X-Men in 2000.
So 2002 then, 2003.
2002, okay. So, I mean, that's an old movie. And
Right.
not many kids these days, I mean, you're going to be a teenager by the time you still remember Tony Stark at this point from when he did that first movie. So they're moving on past those characters. They're introducing new characters all the time. They're introducing, you got Falcon coming in, you got the Guardians, they're going to introduce more Guardians. They're going to replace the Guardians.
Right.
You got Inhumans.
Adam Warlock coming out, yeah.
You got Adam Warlock coming out. You got Inhumans they're gonna introduce. You got Black Panther and the characters from that universe they're gonna introduce. You got Spider-Man, and they're gonna continue to keep doing stuff with that until that contract with Sony runs out, and they're just gonna keep moving forward with it. And the same thing with Fox. I mean, they're already going towards New Mutants instead of the old school stuff. I mean, they are doing the whole Dark Phoenix saga, but they are going towards the New Mutants. They're going towards Cable, Deadpool, stuff like that, and they're moving away from the old school stuff that we and you know.
Well, I mean, can you really fault them though? Because
No, you can't. You can't. I mean,
I can.
that's what they. I mean, I'm not saying that's what they need to do, but
think about this, Disney. What have they always geared toward? Children.
Yeah, but you and I agree with everything that y'all saying. But the thing of it is, children don't go to work and work 9 to 5 every day. You know,
But their
children.
parents do.
No, but exactly. But what I'm saying is this: I'm sure the bulk of ticket sales when it comes down to box office is pretty much primarily adults. Yeah, you got these kids that's growing up and they want to introduce them to a new batch of characters, which is cool. But you think of but put this into perspective. Even though Marvel, as far as the cinematic universe, wants to stray away from the Hulks and the Captain Americas and stuff, man, these characters have been around for 40 plus years, longer than that. So it's just like DC saying, okay, well, we no longer want to use Superman. He's not going to be our flagship character. We're going to make Booster Gold. We're going to put him in Superman's place. You know what I'm saying? Because they want more people to, even though they're supposed to be working on some Booster Gold crap, you know, it's like, okay.
Like the Miz.
Right. Like the Miz want to be Booster Gold, which is totally awesome. Awesome. But y'all get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But you get what I'm saying. I mean, yeah, if Superman been around longer than Captain America, them, and he's still in the forefront. Matter of fact, going back to the rebirth thing, that dude is even his stories, from what I understand, they're like some of the best rebirth stories over in DC right now. So I think all that is just left up to conjecture, man. I mean, Marvel could. You know,
I mean, I understand your point, but the thing is, if you're looking at it for right now, how many Iron Man, how many characters, how many people play Iron Man? It's only been one person to play Iron Man.
True.
How many Batman have you had? You've had Keaton, you've had Clooney, you've had Kilmer,
Adam West,
Bale, Adam West.
I mean, it just the list goes on and on and on. And really, I think it's more of in those characters. And the same thing with Superman. I mean, you've had multiple Superman to go through, and even with Wonder Woman. I mean, this is the second Wonder Woman that's actually played Wonder Woman. Which I read an article today about that, and I kind of agree with it. They're not even really pushing advertising out Wonder Woman, and it comes out in like a little over a month. But those characters are interchangeable to where the character themselves, as far as Batman, is Batman. I mean, you can pretty much interchange Bruce Wayne with just about anybody as long as they can play that role.
Well,
I can see that.
But Batman is Batman, and Superman is Superman. I mean, Clark Kent, there's different Clark Kents that you can have.
I agree and disagree with you on that one, TC. The reason DC keeps changing these people out because they haven't found the right formula like Marvel has to where they can have these same people. Now, granted, Superman, they had Christopher Reeve until he had his accident and he couldn't walk anymore. You know what I mean? But with Batman, when you got Batman, you bring in a different director who wants to make the Dark Knight a neon character. I mean, of course, Michael Keaton's gonna leave. Then you take for Nolan to bring him back. So they haven't found the right formula yet. That's why they keep trying to find these different people. Marvel's found the formula, you know. Not Sony or Fox, but you know, Marvel has.
I tell you what. The question to Al. Go ahead, TC.
I was just gonna say. I mean, you can say the same thing with like Spider-Man. With looking at the different ones. I mean, really, have any of them been a real bad Spider-Man as far as a bad Peter Parker?
Garfield, I didn't like him.
I loved him.
I mean,
that dude sucked.
That
I
dude
thought he
was
was an okay
awesome.
Peter Parker. I really did.
He's all right. He's all right.
Tobey Maguire was who?
No, you cannot tell me Spider-Man 2. That
It wasn't
dude,
because of
man.
him. It
No,
wasn't because of him. It was because of Doc Ock.
Because of Spider-Man 3. We all
It was
know it.
Doc Ock.
No, Spider-Man 2, man. Tobey Maguire, in my opinion, Tobey Maguire made you honestly feel bad for him. That dude can catch a break, and I actually empathize with him. He did a great job. Spider-Man 3, like Matt said, why you said what you say, Matt, is
Venom broke that franchise down. We all know it. That
right.
whole Spider-Man 3 crap. Church scene. I mean, the bell tower. We all know.
The church.
Yeah, we all know why that franchise went down the toilet. And I was going to throw this in there. You asked the question. You said, "Well, who?" I got 4 names right here. One, I can almost tell you gonna have her own movie, and that's Black Widow. You just by hanging that up, that's gonna happen. Just based off of popularity and who plays her. So
Not from her recent movies.
Well, I mean, we all know Ghost in the people. Hell, we got people don't even know what the hell Ghost in the Shell is. We all know what it is, but a lot of people
but
know
she
what the
can't
hell.
act in it.
Yeah, but people are going to see her in Black Widow because people know her from she's already got that established from being in the Avengers movie. So people are gonna trust me. Kids are gonna go see that. So the other person is, and this is a guy who's I'm we bring this up at least every 4 months. We throw this out there. And Vince, wherever you are, you appreciate this, my friend. But Moon Knight is a character. But you know what? Probably gonna see him on Netflix. Namor. That's another character that I've been screaming that I've been wanting to see. Probably gonna see him on maybe he'll be in a support. He'll probably be one of those roles where he's a character in somebody else's movie. And then of course, which remains to be seen, we'll find this out next week, or probably in the next movie, Guardians movie, Nova. So I mean, those are just a few names, but it does back up what TC's saying is who are you going to turn to in this new universe that's out there? Well, we know Squirrel Girl is in her own movie, and you know the kids are going to see that. So
but that's gonna be a comedy. They already said that.
That's gonna be another Ant-Man.
You got properties like Power Pack sitting out there. You got the Power Pack sitting out there. Alpha Flight. You got hell, man. I was talking with a guy the other day, and he was talking about hell the Micronauts.
No.
Microsoft. I mean, Microsoft. I don't even think they're not even Marvel property anymore. Like Rom the Space Knight.
No, that's right. That's right. Rom is with IDW. That's right.
And Micronauts is too. This is with IDW right. As well. Yeah, it's no longer Marvel property.
Okay, so I mean, you know, I mean, it's kind of like you're starting to scrape the bottom of the barrel. I mean, what you gonna do? Star Jammers? You gonna put them in the movie?
Well, they can't do that because that's the X-Men property. So it's leaving Sony to mess that up.
So I mean, it's kind of like what remains to be seen. I think honestly, sitting here thinking about it now, I really believe that what Marvel is gonna start doing is they're gonna start just building movies based off storylines, like what we're seeing with Infinity War. You'll probably start seeing movies that tie in. They're gonna try to drag it to tie in to get to like. And I know this is the joke on the show, but they're gonna probably do some, execution of song, some type.
I mean, the thing about it is that Disney is they're slowly pushing these, like y'all said, these new properties on. Even with the new Marvel vs. Capcom game, that Hawkeye is the Hawkeye from
the movies, right?
It's actually from the one. It's from Avengers Assemble, the cartoon show. Yeah,
cartoon. Yeah,
that's exactly. He looks exactly like the cartoon Hawkeye when you see him on there. And when I saw it, I was just like, wait a minute. I'm like, that's not the one from the movie. That's what everybody keeps saying. That, that's the Hawkeye from the movie. Like, no, that's the one from the cartoon show.
No.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about who the Redskins is drafted.
David is talking about the draft because the Washington Redskins have drafted Jonathan Allen is the defensive end to the football team. So I was sitting here hoping we could get him on the show tonight as his draft pick came down the pipe. We'll talk about this off the air. Let's keep rolling. Let's move on to the next topic. Go ahead, TC. We'll go ahead and get ready to move.
I was just gonna say, man, that everything is they're trying to expand their audience, and they know the route to that is go to a younger audience, make something more available. And I mean, I don't mean to go back to the game talking about it, but I mean, I've seen where the people have actually played and explained how the game plays, and the game plays exactly the way Marvel 1 played, where it's going back to a 4-button system, where it's a light punch, light kick, heavy punch, heavy kick. And then you have your infinity button to activate that, and you have your tag button on that. That's pretty much, I'm not saying it's dumbing it down, but it's making it as pretty much as simple as possible to add more people to come play your game. And they know they got those younger audience people that you got your Capcom fans, yeah. But then you're going to have your Disney, Marvel fans that's going to come in and start playing that game too. And that's what they want to expand on.
Basically, it's a big marketing point.
That's it. Cash grab.
The whole thing, all of it is.
Cash grab.
Even the movies, the cartoons, the TV shows. I mean, they have a Guardians of the Galaxy Disney show on there, and then they turn around and have a Rocket and Groot show by themselves on there. They come on back to back in the same hour for that show.
And what's with a group comic? Who? The dude say I am Groot all the time. What? Never mind. I'm sorry.
Easiest writing you can do.
What do you do with I am Groot with a group comic though? Who buys that?
I am Groot.
I am Groot.
I ain't Groot.
All right, let's move on, fellas. We'll stay in the Marvel universe, and we're close to winding it down. Let's stay in the Marvel universe. Last weekend, there was an article that discussed the Marvel is in the Nazi business. You notice I say this all the way to the end, and a lot of people got emotional about it, got upset. Me personally, it didn't too much bother me. I'm all Hail Hydra anyway, so I like Hail Hydra, so it didn't too much bother me. But there are a few people, you know, Xavier, Al, y'all can have it. I saved this because I wanted to put y'all two in the ring, steel cage match, suitcase hanging from the rafters. Take it away.
All right, X. It's on you, bro.
All right, so it's only one thing that really bothered me, because you know we all had our opinions in the group, but you know the main thing that really bothered me, I wish Larry was on, but when Larry called me, said I was being hypocritical because I said I wanted to separate the comic from this. But Larry is the one that says when we go see these movies, we need to set the comics aside from the movies. That right there is like the epitome of being hypocritical. But as far as like the whole premise of it, I can honestly I can care less about it, but I can empathize and sympathize for the people that are being offended by it, because who are we to say whether they should feel a certain type of way about it or not? You know what I'm saying? Like, if we sit here and we think about it, yes, it is fictional and whatnot, but I mean, we all know that Hydra is based off of the Nazis and this, that, and the other. You know what I'm saying? Like, the whole purpose of Captain America was to fight against them. He was the all American boy at the time. So if somebody is looking into this and they were offended, who are we to say that they shouldn't be offended? Like, if we go somewhere, and I brought it up in the group, if we go somewhere and they got on a all nigga lynching T-shirt, we're gonna feel a certain type of way about it, even though it may have been based on the fictional storyline. So, like I said, that was the only thing that bothered me. Don't tell me not to separate the comics from that because it's fictional, but you say separate the comics from that. And that's not a shot at Larry, but you know what I'm saying? It's
Shots
like,
fired.
No shots fired. Is just can't call me say I'm being hypocritical when that statement was
This Tuesday in
hypocritical.
Texas.
You know. But I mean, hell, I love Larry Dale. That's still my boy. Always gonna be my boy. But I was like, you can't say that. But I mean, if somebody feels a certain kind of way, we can't say they shouldn't feel that way about it. You know what I mean? We might not agree with it, but it's their feelings, their emotions. Who are we to dictate whether they're just in feeling that way?
Al,
You know what, X? You have said that so well, so eloquent, and I appreciate you saying that, man. And I agree with you. My when I posted in the hall, my thing is this: we live in a society right now, man, to where people are upset, and they get the I guess the apropos term in the internet community is butthurt. They get butthurt over everything.
Right?
Now, yeah, Hydra is a play off of the Nazis, of course. But I got a couple of questions that I would like to pose to these people that are so offended. Before you knew Captain America was about to turn to the side of the NWO, where were you 30 years ago? Hydra was still in the comic
Right.
books. Where were you when Stan Lee, which happens to be of Jewish descent, um, based on his
Created these
heritage,
characters, right?
right, which created these characters? Where were you at that particular time when he decided, hey, I'm going to create this particular group? And he basically just took information. He just took, that information from history and created this group, which didn't necessarily persecute a particular ethnicity. Which, yeah, the Nazis persecuted the Jews during the Holocaust. Yeah, of course, we know that as being history. But my thing is the group Hydra has been around in the comic books for years.
we talking
But no,
1920s.
Yeah.
yeah, in the Timely Comics. Well, no, I don't think
Yeah,
they
you're
were
right.
around
No,
during
you're
that
right.
time.
You're right. Timely
Well,
comics.
they may have been. I don't know because I'm not too keen on Captain America's history. But needless to say, you have this group that's been in comics for years, but you only want to cause us think about this group, this Hydra group, when you find out that Marvel is doing a storyline that's revolving around this particular group. Now, mind you, and this is something that I brought to a point to in the hall when we were talking about it. Okay, so during the '90s, the X-Men had a storyline called the Extinction Agenda, and basically what it was is that the X-Men were the X certain X-Men were being kidnapped or abducted by Donald Pierce, which was in the X-Men, one of the X-Men movies.
Logan.
But yeah. So anyway, they were being sent over to a fictional country in Africa by the name of Genosha. And at this particular time, they had concentration camps or slave camps set up for mutants to strip them of their mutant power and to make them subservient to Donald Pierce. Okay, so at that point in time, you could have easily said, now if that storyline had came out in the era of people being woke and being conscious and all this kind of stuff, then there'll be an uproar. People have been turning
Hotel.
over tables, be kicking down doors and waving 4-4s, talking about Papa don't hit me no more and all that kind of crap, right? But my thing, like I said, you have a situation where in this day and time, people get so offended about certain things. My thing is this: history occurred, and I'm about to get off the cuff for a minute, but you hear people always talking about this, that, and the other. You should never forget your history, wherever you come from, whoever you are, because there's an old saying that goes, if you fail to what is y'all help me out?
If you forget your history, you're destined to repeat it.
It's destined, you're doomed to repeat it, exactly. But at the same time, man, we all draw from history at some point. People that are authors or writers, they draw from certain aspects of
Right.
history to
Right.
create new stuff. um and it goes back to what I said, man. People get offended over each and everything. Yeah, it was based Hydra. We all know it was based from the Nazis. That's a given. You could
Right.
watch the first Captain America and tell that.
Right.
But when you watch
Red
that movie,
Skull.
right, the Red Skull. But where were those people then
Right.
when that movie came out? You see what I'm saying? A lot of people excuse my French, y'all, but a lot of people want to bitch and moan about stuff. Everything is not meant to offend a particular group of people that comes out. At the same time, you have to learn how to be tolerant to certain things. Now, unless it came out and Hydra was persecuting a particular ethnic race of people in the comic book, then I can say, okay, yeah, they kind of like, pushing the envelope with it. But at the same time, it's still all about artistic freedom. And I think a lot of people that started talking about how this was offensive was pretty much trying to equate this to that whole thing that goes back to Xmen Gold with the Muslim, as far as the Quran, the verses from the Quran and stuff. At the end of the day, man, we have got to learn how to pretty much put everything into perspective. Was Marvel basically trying to offend Jewish people when they announced Secret Empire and announced that Captain America was Hydra? No, they weren't. That's a storyline that they came up with because they done already killed Captain America. Then already done made him old. They've taken his powers away from him more than one time.
More than 4 times.
Several times.
Yeah.
So you have people that are in charge of being in creative control of this character. What can we do to make this dude fresher? What can we do to spice him up? They made him Hydra. It's a story. If we could get to that point to where it's okay, it's a story and we can move on there, fine. But like I said, everything that happens is not meant to be offensive to a particular race or an ethnicity of people. And I think at this particular day and time, we get so dadgum offended about everything. And y'all know this to be true. Folks get offended because a movie is made about an overweight person. Hell, I mean, and this has happened before. We should show fat people whatever. It's America is comprised most of fat people. I'm one of them. I'm trying to lose weight. I am losing weight because my face look a little thinner. But anyway, that goes beyond saying we need to quit being offended over every doggone thing because everything is not meant in that context. And I don't care. Some people will try to squeeze blood out of an orange, and they gonna keep on until they try. But at the end of the day, and I'm done with my rant, we need to make sure that we are understanding of certain things that go on around us. We have to understand that even though this might be suspect and I might not agree with it, it's not meant to attack a certain person unless it's coming outright and saying, "Hey, like that comic Rednecks." You could say that book about rednecks is about jokers in Alabama if you don't read the comic, but it's not even about that.
Right.
But people take stuff out of context, man, and they run with it, and they don't even understand what they're even dealing with. So, like I said, man, Hydra been around for years. People don't start complaining about Hydra until Captain America became an agent of Hydra. It's a bunch of bullets, man. I call shenanigans, and
All
I'm
right.
done.
You know what's funny? What offended me the most about this whole thing, as far as Marvel is concerned, you ask the employees of the comic book shops to wear the shirts, but you want to charge them for the shirt. It's just
That's a
like
cash grab.
it's
Cash
like
grab.
if Samsung came in Best Buy right now and asked us to wear these Samsung, like the was the S8 just came out. If they wanted us to wear the S8 T-shirts to promote their product that we're selling for them, like, oh yeah, we want y'all to buy the shirts. You don't get out of my face. I'm gonna wear my Best Buy blue shirt that I got for free and call it a Merry Blessed Day. You know, that's what offended me the most about it. But I can, like I said, I can see it didn't bother me, but I can see why certain people felt a certain kind of way about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I might not agree with it, but I can see why. Because look at it, like, even though this is all based off of fictional stuff, like Larry was saying, but when we were wearing hoodies, you know what I'm saying, on the show for Trayvon and whatnot, you know what I'm saying, it was
So
certain
you
people
you
got
you,
offended
you,
for that.
you don't have to go there. All you gotta do is just black the comic book.
For that too. But like people get offended when we say Black Lives Matter. Well, they do. You know what I'm saying? They do matter, just like all lives matter. But Black Lives Matter people got up in the air about that, but you know, we can't tell them they shouldn't feel a certain kind of way, just like they can't tell us to feel a certain kind of way. You know what I'm saying?
You are 100% correct, man. But see, the key to anything in life, man, ignorance is bliss. And I have a saying that I say, ignorance is a disease. If you don't understand something, you don't
speak on
know.
it.
Right. Not only that, but if you don't understand a certain thing, it's one thing to go through life and not know, and you honestly don't know about certain things. It's another thing to go through life and not know a certain thing because you refuse to learn about that certain thing. You
Right.
get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when you see that whole situation about the BLM thing, and even this thing with the with the Captain America Secret Empire, like I said in the hall, a lot of these people, some people, they jump on the bandwagon for some because it's the most politically correct thing to do nowadays. And a lot of these folks that be jumping on these bandwagons and following these causes have no clue of what they're supporting. All they see is other people running to it. It's just like when you were in high school and somebody got to fight. How many people actually went the other way?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Everybody gravitated toward the fight because they want to see what's going on. They're going to take sides in the fight, even though they don't even know who fighting.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? It's akin to the same thing, man. We gotta learn how to be tolerant, and we gotta learn how to educate ourselves on certain things that we don't know. And going back to the BLM thing, and I noticed the comment call. A lot of people say that all lives matter thing because they don't look at the statistics as far as what goes on, as far as the certain issues that the reason why Black Lives Matter is doing what they're doing. But we're talking about comic books, so. In that token, I'm going to turn it back over to Matthew Odom so we can go ahead and get on with the get on.
All right. At the end of the day, read your books and enjoy your comic book.
That's right.
Let's
right.
Let's go ahead and move on here as we get ready. We're close to winding it down. Let's go to the other topic tonight, which is Walking Dead has been over for 2 weeks now. Ratings are down 25%.
That'd be more.
Dang.
25%. Me and Will were talking on Tuesday, and Will looked at me and said, "I think that this thing has ran its course." Me and TT have been saying that for quite a while. I think that the juice. I think the juice is all the way out of the hot seat box. And you're just trying to suck it, at the end, you're just trying to get that last little, you're trying to get that last suck.
You folding it up.
You fold it up and trying to get the little bit of ecto cool you can get.
Ecto cool.
And I just think that the show is on life support. And, I really don't have much, I know I'm going to sound like Tony. I feel myself sounding like him. I really don't have any high expectations for this show anymore. I mean, I'll watch it because ain't nothing else on, or it's a bad football game, but it's it's kind of to the point where it is. And Fear the Walking Dead is just gonna give me time to get to the strain, just gonna pass time so I can get to the strain, and that's the only reason I watch it. So,
man, at least we can say Fear the Walking Dead is better than Walking Dead.
I mean, honestly, to me, I think it is. I mean, and I know, and Tony's outside that might not be saying much, but to me, I feel like Fear the Walking Dead is a better show than the Walking Dead.
You know why?
Because I don't know what's gonna happen.
Exactly. That's why you're saying that.
Yeah, right. And that's exactly what.
No, we do know what's gonna happen. It's gonna be The Walking Dead is what happened.
Yeah, well, I mean, but it's not. I mean,
it's not predictable.
It's not as predictable. And at least you get. You know what? The zombies are zombies on that show. It's an actual horror show,
right?
As opposed to watching Young and the Restless on Sunday at 9:00. Victor Newman and Nikki
is The Walking Dead,
and what you call it, and JR and all these Falcon's Crest, and I can just go down the list of dramas, because that's what The Walking Dead, the regular show, has become. It's a drama as opposed to a show about survival.
Man,
We got past survival.
Victor on the Young and the Restless. That didn't watch it though.
Let me tell y'all, man.
I mean, look,
I'm
when I was a kid, I was a kid, and I had no choice.
Hey, my grandma made me watch it too.
Everybody, you watch that show, you up and down, you know.
I'm gonna give you a rundown of what's wrong with these shows, and the rundown on them is this goes for not only just Walking Dead, but this goes for Flash, this goes for Arrow, this goes for all of them. Is that they're taking the story and they are just dragging the story out.
Right.
And you're not telling me, you're not updating me on anything in between these episodes, because from the last episode we watched a month ago of Flash up to the same episode we watched this past Tuesday of Flash, I know nothing else. I know no kind of additional information that I knew back then a month ago than I know right now.
We just know
the
that
show didn't inform me of anything new. It didn't lead me into a different direction. I still don't know who Savitar is. Him going to the future was absolutely pointless, because the only thing he learned was a person that helped him stop Savitar, and that was it. But you got to go back to the past now and try to find that person and develop it 4 years earlier than you did before.
Like all we learned was that he was in a mechanical suit.
That's it. The thing with Arrow, it's even worse. I don't know if y'all watched Arrow.
I didn't.
Nope.
He wasn't even in a suit. He was running around with a hockey mask and a pistol. It reminded me of
Casey Jones.
It reminded me of the scene from Batman when he was like, what's the difference between
hockey mask?
I'm not running around in a hockey mask.
Hockey mask.
My God.
That's what it reminded me of, because he's not even using. He's not using his arrow. He's not in the suit. He's in none of that. And the whole story of it is that they're going after Prometheus at this point. And again, there's nothing else extra that I know from the month ago, from the break, than from when I watched it Wednesday night. Nothing.
Speaking of Arrow, when did the wild dogs become wild dog?
You know what?
At the end of the day, what Tony's saying here,
that character, he can walk off the show right now, and it wouldn't make a difference.
You wouldn't even notice it.
It wouldn't make a difference at all. That other guy,
go back to Torque and Biker Boys and all that other crap.
What's the guy? What's his? No, he needs to go back to old school. That's where I remember from. It was Spanish from old school. But I mean, the show, you got that. What's the other guy with the rags? The rag man.
Where has he been? I forgot he was on the show.
Boom. Walked off the show. Nobody even noticed.
I didn't even realize that.
Nobody cared. Nobody cared.
And you know what? I'm gonna say something. And the old and Al, old man off of Fear the Walking Dead is yet to be seen.
Yeah.
Where's this guy at, man?
He's been gone since what, season 1?
That's what I'm saying, is that you develop characters like this, and then you move on.
I forgot all about him.
Yeah, the old man. I mean, he was the man. That was the reason why I was watching the show.
Yeah, I forgot all about him.
He'll probably show up this upcoming season though. They got some when stuff like that happens, unless you're Heath. He just fell off the earth, man. Like come tell you, the last Walking Dead episode I watched, man, was the one where they were in the junkyard. Right before that one, of course, that was the one where Heath and that old Raggedy Tar was in. But I'm still wondering, like, what happened to Heath? They didn't make no mention of him. Like, he's just gone.
He's laying up under a bunch of dead walkers right now.
I don't know. He might be at Crystal somewhere at Checkers. But anyway,
Checkers.
Needless to say, they got Checkers still open in the zombie apocalypse.
Do Checkers like that. Them fries awesome.
Big Buford's.
Buford, man.
Big Buford. But no, seriously though, man, the Hispanic guy from Fear the Walking Dead, he gonna show up, and he probably gonna show up when you least expect it. More than likely, he's probably gonna show up saving somebody's behind, something like that, But they probably, I'm pretty sure they still got plans for him. And I think the ploy was to probably make people forget about him, and then they gonna just just throw him on somebody. Like, oh, okay, there you go. That's what you were doing. So
Nick is the most interesting character on that show.
Well, I tell you, man,
Yeah, but you know what? I'm sitting here listening to everybody talk, and you notice what we're doing. We're talking about Fear the Walking Dead instead
More
of
than The Walking Dead. Yep.
Well,
regular
the thing
Walking
about
Dead.
The Walking Dead, man, is that they drag the story along. I mean, like me and you talked about the other night. If you're looking in the comic books and looking at the season, I mean, we've only gone through 3 comic books through this whole. I don't know how many episodes it was.
Right.
We've only gone through 3 comic books
Right.
for this whole entire season. But if you look at it timeline wise, only maybe a month has passed in the timeline. Now they're talking about doing another time skip again, like jumping forward to the future on there for it. But I really don't think that's going to help anything out, to be honest with you, because, like you said, the characters, you're losing interest in them. You bring a new character on, you kill a character off, and it's just a rinse and repeat of the show. And I mean, if you just want to know the whole premise of the show, if I had to explain it to somebody, is you move to a safe spot until that safe spot is not safe anymore, and you move to another spot, and that's not safe anymore, you move to another spot. And that's the whole premise of the entire show from day one up to all the way up to where we're at right now.
Yeah, you find another group of humans that have the same interests that you do. Instead of joining together, y'all beefing. That's all it is.
Yep, and that's exactly why this show is on Death Watch. So
I got a question. I
Death
got a
Watch.
question. So we talking about TV shows and whatnot. What is wrong with having multiple major villains in one season?
and that's the thing that I mean, you look at. I mean, let's go back. What season? What season is this, TC? That it just went off 7. What is
Seven.
it?
Yeah.
7. So let's go
Yeah.
back to season 5. I believe it's season 5. You got the governor. No.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is it the
Yep.
governor?
It's the governor
Yeah, you had the governor.
The governor, and then the cannibals were like right there in the same
area.
area, but
Yeah.
they hurried up and killed off the
Terminus.
governor. Yeah,
Terminus.
the terminus. You
Right.
hurried up and killed off the governor, so we can get the terminus in that only lasted 1 episode.
Yeah.
Really, theoretically 1 episode,
Right.
because they got out of there way too early than what they should have. And I really felt like they were just like, oh man, we gotta hurry up and put all this stuff out, and we gotta. Well, you wasted time, and you kind of meld along now to where it's just kind of like you don't know exactly what to do. But we talked about this Sunday, Tony. What they should have did is, now you're talking all this talk about we're going to move away from the book and this, that, another. Well, if you're moving away
They've been moving
from
away
the
from the
book,
book.
but if you're moving away, now I'll tell you what, if you're going to go in another direction, because that's what they did with season 3 of The Strain, is they moved a little bit away from the book and it worked. If you're going to do that, then y'all should just start say it from the rip.
Right.
We're going to move away from the book, and there's some characters that are dead in the book that are not going to be dead now. And I'll tell you without a shadow of a doubt, and I'm standing on the promises that if Shane was on this show would probably be about at least 20% more watchable, because a lot of this crap that you're seeing, I'm feeling rant coming.
We
A
wouldn't
lot
have
of
a
this,
show
Oh
though.
Lord.
well, I
We wouldn't have
mean,
a show because he'll kill everybody. He wouldn't be talking to him.
look, man, there's sometimes like when you run into a cat like Negan, you don't need to be talking to him and
Right.
trying to reason.
Right.
He needs to be knocked off the block. I mean, we joke all the time, man. There's no way the governor would have survived had Shane walked in that room and sat down at the table with him and drunk liquor.
Nope.
There's no way you're gonna convince me that the governor's gonna walk out of there.
But I mean, the thing about it is that Negan even said that himself. When he saw the old Rick in that video recording, he even said himself, that's somebody I wouldn't want to mess with, because that dude looks crazy. And if you go back and look, before they got to Alexandria, Rick and crew, man, they were just going
Heartless.
Yeah, I mean, they were hard. They were going through, man. They were going through them buildings, and they were clearing them buildings like
Right.
military style,
Right.
breach and clear, boom, 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 out, boom, 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 out, and that's the way they work.
You know the worst thing that happened to The Walking Dead, honestly. And like I didn't mean to cut you off, TC, but
No, you
it's
good.
like when they met up with the scientists and the scientists told them that everybody has the virus. When you die, you're gonna turn into a walker. That is when The Walking Dead really went downhill as far as the TV show is concerned.
I say they went downhill at the prison.
See,
No.
that was before they even got to the prison, though.
I said it went downhill when T-Dog got cut off of that ragged vehicle and he was infected with some kind of
The malaria.
the mange or something, and then they were looking for that girl and Carol's daughter, man, and she came. That was like, to me, I understand. You talk about filler episode. That season had more filler episodes than Naruto Shippuden.
Yeah.
And that's the one I always go back to and say that season there was the start of the downfall of The Walking Dead. That was the farm. That was the farm.
The farm.
I got so sick and tired of seeing that farm. I got so sick and tired of Herschel.
Oh my God.
And the whole thing of it, every bit of it from beginning to end, Lori, Herschel, the farm, and I was just like, you know what, man? Matt didn't even finish. I'm going to tell you, Matt didn't even finish watching it, and he came up and watched the last. I called him up when the last episode was on, and he was like, I didn't even know it when it took his break and came back on. Matt didn't even know it came back off break. That tell you how bad it was.
Dang.
How come it's not more amputees in The Walking Dead?
Because they're dead.
They did.
No, I'm just saying, like, if somebody bites my arm, I'm begging you to cut. I'm going to cut my arm off myself. If I know I'm gonna live.
I told y'all last year in our last every time I bring this up, man, I turn this on the phone. Right now, Z Nation is a better show than The Walking Dead, and I mean that.
I mean,
I'm serious. I am flat out serious because on Z Nation, silly as it is, at the end of the day, it's all about survival, and that's the motto. Everybody on there is trying to survive. There's no, oh, let's be friends. Everybody is trying to survive.
You know what makes Z Nation so silly is zombie animals. If they didn't have that, I think it was actually a show that you could take serious. But when you have like a zombie bear and a zombie lion and stuff like that.
But why not have that? Because that'll be
Zombie
realistic.
I mean,
it's silly. I mean,
that's kind of silly though. I mean,
you can't take that show serious. When I say take it serious, I mean with the tone. I mean, it's a hilarious show. But when you look at the aspect of being in a post-apocalyptic scenario, it fits the bill. Whereas Walking Dead, like I said, is as the world turns every week. It's about who is in love with who else, and it's removed the focus of zombies, and we're sitting here worried about, well, who is Rick really in love with Michonne, or is are they gonna have a love child?
And I'm so tired of seeing that
and Eugene and Pickles. This is and balloons and all this stuff.
Hey,
this is what the show has become, and it's not the show that got everybody involved.
You just want to play Atari and eat some pickles, man. You can't blame him for that, all right?
I mean,
Yar's revenge.
Yar's revenge, man.
Yar's revenge.
All right, so let's move on to a show that is on fire. And once again, I'll say it again. Every episode until we get everybody on this panel watching it. If you're not watching Into the Badlands, shame on you. I mean, this show gets better and better and better and better. It did even this week, Monday, it was announced. 3rd season, 16 episodes. And I think this season is 16. So they're coming back. AMC has struck gold. And as far as I'm concerned, just push Walking Dead behind this show and let this show come on before Walking Dead. You're probably gonna get more viewers.
No, talking the Badlands instead of Talking Dead.
Yeah, Talking the Badlands, because this show, man, I'm telling you, this past Sunday's episode. TC, did you watch this past Sunday's episode? Yeah,
I'm caught
this
up.
past Sunday. Okay, good. So this past Sunday's episode was straight fire. You got everything you want. You got action pack. You got fatalities. You got characters coming out NWO style, switching up. You got swerves that you didn't see. I'm telling you, man. This show is. I'm looking on my Facebook timeline and I'm seeing people that I didn't even know watch this show is watching it. And that's how I know it's called. When I got folks who there's no way they're watching the show like this, and they're like, "Oh, I gotta watch it to the balance." This show is top grade. TC, every week, what do you say when the show comes on? Who are you looking for, my friend?
I'm looking for Danny Rand, man.
Because this is
Looking for
exactly
Danny
what
Rand.
Iron Fist should have been. It's just, I mean, anything. This is the modern old Shaw Brothers kung fu flick. This is it. This is it, man. This is top of the line stuff, man. I'm giving this past week's episode out of 5. I'm giving it 4.5 out of 5. The only reason I'm giving it 4.5 out of 5 because the damn show went off in an hour. I wish they gave me an hour and a half.
You know what, man? I'm gonna give it a 5, and you know the sole reason I'm gonna give it a 5, man, is because the old dude.
They got a sexy face.
He did the heart palm touch on
Yeah, he
Sonny,
did. Yeah, he
and I
did.
was just like,
Yeah, he did.
And see, I
Yeah.
was on the phone with you Sunday, so I
he
could
did
tell
that to
you.
him. I was just like, wait a minute. I was like, how long is this gonna take effect to hit it? Because I knew it's gonna hit it
Right.
before the show ended. I was like, how long is this gonna take effect to hit it? When he did that, I was like, oh, he knew what he was doing. Didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
He
set
didn't
him
care
up.
whether he lived or died at that point. He
Yeah.
was like, hey, I did what I had to do, y'all.
Yeah.
And I was on the phone with TC Sunday, so he wasn't able to watch it. And so I couldn't say anything, but he could just tell by my reaction, like, yeah, man, you're gonna really love this week's episode. And it was, I mean, it was top of the line stuff, man. I mean, from fatality, I mean, the fatalities in this past week's episode. I mean, dudes were getting wrecked, open
Right.
shot. I mean, out the gate. I mean, the first scene, folks getting heads getting cut off. I mean, first scene. I mean, you can't ask for a better show, man.
What's Big Boy name? I can't never remember his name, but to find out that he's like MK.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You
I was
like, you
like,
didn't see that
whoa.
coming. I never saw that coming.
No, not at
I
all.
was,
Not the way he fought against the champion.
yeah. I mean, this is top of the line stuff. Al Rainer, you've got to get on this, man. You got
You know
to.
who
I
that
watched
is, right? That's the dude that playing all the Shaun of the Dead.
It damn sure. I knew he looked familiar. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it.
You can't
Good
really tell
call.
because he got that beard, but that's
Good call.
That's the dude. Yeah, that's him.
Al, what you saying, my friend?
I've gotten to episode 3 on the first season, man. I'm getting there.
Yeah,
I'm
you
getting
almost there. You
I
almost
watched
there.
I watched it all in one day. I got hooked.
Yeah.
The opening scene, I got hooked.
Go to bed at night. Watch 2 episodes a night, man. We'll fast track you.
Word life.
All right. So, fellas, before we get into our halls, Xavier, you have your top 10.
Oh yeah. Hey man, look, this was the hardest top 10 I've ever had to do on this show. By the way, my 4 honorable mentions: Red Sonja. Keep in mind this when I was a kid, so that's what
Yeah.
I
So
watched all the
that's
time.
go ahead.
Cyborg, Revenge of the Ninja, and Cloak and Dagger. Those are my honorable mentions. Now, my number 10 is Kickboxer. Number 9 is Bloodsport. Number 8 is Batman with Michael Keaton.
Val Kilmer.
Hey,
Oh, Mike Keaton.
kill yourself. Kill yourself. Don't you ever say Val Kilmer and Batman again, or George Clooney.
The nipple suit.
Just shut up. Neon lights everywhere. The Batmobile had neon. Man, never mind. My number 7 is Conan the Destroyer. My number 6 is Beastmaster.
God, I forgot about Beastmaster.
Yeah. My number
Whoa.
5 is Big Trouble in Little China. My number 4 is The Last Dragon. Oh crap. I must like the Beastmaster because I had it on here twice. So we're gonna flip another one into that spot. And I am gonna go with Superman 2. You know, when we actually had all 3, well, 4 Kryptonians on the show.
Yeah.
My number 2 is Terminator. And my number one is Transformers, the movie from 1986.
Oh, how
You
did
know,
I forget that?
if I said cartoon, I didn't even think about that, man.
I didn't either.
Hey, it's in the title. Transformers, the movie.
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
You're right, man. I didn't even think about that, man. Hell, you could say G.I. Joe.
That too. Yeah.
Serpentor.
You know, one movie I did not hear anybody call out, and I didn't either. I was going to see if anybody else would say it, man. I wouldn't say it was like the top of the line action movie, but I mean, it's RoboCop.
I had it on there. I had it on my
I had
dude.
my honorable mention.
If y'all can see my list right here, it is on here with a circle next to it.
I mean, the violence in that movie, man, in the first 15 minutes of that movie, man, was unseen at that, unparalleled at that time, man.
Thing is, if you watch it right now, you might fall asleep on it.
Yo, yeah,
It's so cheesy.
Yeah, you talking about cheese? I mean, it's still not mosquito. Not mosquito.
Dude, check this out. I almost put the Last Starfighter on there. Y'all remember that?
Yeah, you put that on there. Yeah, you put that on there.
That was tough, man. God. Ninja 3.
All right, so our next list, it's gonna be we're gonna go our favorite movies from the 70s.
That's even harder.
Yep. So we're gonna that'll be our next top 10, our top 10 70s movies.
Warriors, come out and play.
So we'll go with that on the next one.
I'm gonna be right back, y'all. Y'all go ahead.
Okay. It is now time for our hauls of the week. As we come around the back end of the show, and I have go ahead and get everything started off this week. Everybody, Al, go ahead and get your ash can. Antonio, get your ash. Well, you've already got your ash can.
I already showed y'all mine.
Okay. Al, you got your ash can?
Yes, I'm pulling it now.
We'll wait for you to go ahead and get back on screen here.
Where is my ash can?
Yeah, on that mountain, that bed of books.
Man, you have no idea.
Yeah, he's swimming on his bed looking through books.
Man.
Like Scrooge McDuck.
Right. Like.
All right, Al, you got your ash can?
Hold on. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, I got it. Here it is.
All right, hold your ash can up. We're gonna hold them up simultaneously.
Oh.
Yeah. You must. If you're watching this show, it may be too late. But if you have not got one, everybody's going to get the regular variant. You want to get the ash can. It's the one you want. That's the one you want. Once again, kudos to the Oracle, Antonio Coleman.
All indeed, right? Indeed.
Other books picked up this week. Xmen Blue, #1. Pick that up. Jimmy Hudson makes his return back to X-Men. Joins up the X-Men in this book. Deadpool versus Punisher variant. I still don't like how they drew the Punisher. He looks like a damn elevator operator.
Let me see.
Like Johnny Bravo. Johnny Bravo on the weight plan. Xmen Gold. Xmen Gold. Waiting on my other Xmen Gold to come. Al got his before me. He-Man, She-Ra. Xavier, this is what I picked up yesterday. Batman and the Shadow. I picked that up just because it's kind of a throwback to the old Batman and Robin cover from the old days. They used to the bat. So I picked that up. Weapon X variant. And
which one you got? Let me see that again. The Weapon X.
Throwback Wolverine and Sabretooth. Old school player.
I like that one.
Cool. Yeah, you can get it for on what you call it Midtown for about was it 10, 12?
12.50.
12. Oh. Yeah. And Harley Quinn. I like that just like that based off of that. Michael Cho is killing it, man, on these B covers. And my pick of the week would be I went to Book Nook about a couple weeks ago.
Book.
Book Nook, and I saw they had a variant in the box that was about close to about $80. And so I said, well, I'm gonna look and see if I can find this online a little cheaper than I actually did. And it's the I call it it's the known as the twerking variant. But Deadpool, I'm not sure if you can see him twerking.
Oh no! Are you
It's,
serious?
yeah, it's the
Twerking variant.
yeah right there.
Oh, that's that lenticular. I see him twerk.
Yeah.
Shoot, dog.
Yeah, and this is a Deadpool 34, and this book is a little all over the place. But if you go in most stores, they typically sell this book for about anywhere from 75 and up. So I got this for right there at about 30. So I was satisfied with that. So
Working code. Oh god.
that's my haul for the week. Bro, man, come on, man.
Hilarious.
Like this week, man. My orders are coming in.
Coming in, you wait for the truck to come in.
Yeah, the slow mail.
All right, Brother Rainey.
Man. Okay, let me see. My gosh. Let's see here. I got a bunch of stuff, man, over the last couple of weeks. As I've been putting on the whatchamacallit on the haul. Bungie has new ownership, and they've turned it around like the hokey pokey up there. And I really enjoy going in there now, man. They're putting stuff on sale. They are discounting a lot of books, and it is pretty freaking sweet going in there now. So I'm not gonna even go through all the stuff that I've procured over the last couple of weeks. Just some of the major stuff. And let's see here. All right, I got this last week. God Country #4.
Oh,
Secret Empire Zero. Folks is going in a tizzy over. I bought Weapon X, but I got the hip hop cover.
I like that.
And it was pretty decent as far as the read. I got this one shot of Space Ghost, Green Lantern. Picked that up. I got two of these. It's a Batman, the lenticular cover. Says Batman 21. Got that last week. Black Chapter 5 came out. Got that one. Green Lanterns 21. Got that one. This is basically a really good book, man. It's getting better. In addition to the Ash Can, I got Redneck #1, the first printing. Let's see here. I have, hold on a sec. I bought this today. This is the Flash Lenticular. Yeah, the Flash Lenticular, Flash 21. So that came out Wednesday, and then I got the regular. Well, actually, this is the variant, and I pretty much get variants, but the variant for this one is pretty cool because it's got the Rebirth Batman and Flash looking down in the puddle with the Flashpoint Flash and Batman.
That's actually a variant you want to get, man. I saw that's actually one of the
That's the international.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the one you want there.
Okay, well, I like this one more than the regular cover, so I went ahead and picked this one up. So I got that one. One of the best books out, 7 to Eternity #5. I haven't read this one yet, but I'm looking forward to cracking this one open this weekend. Another one, another Image, Killer Be Killed #8.
8.
Yeah, Killer Be Killed #8. Brass Kings #2. I didn't read this one. I doubt very seriously I will. I just got it because it's a hip hop cover. I got the Crew,
That's dope.
which is the Firm cover.
Firm.
Yep, the Firm, Nas, AZ, and Foxy Brown.
Brown.
Phone tap.
On tap, right? In one shots, I got Adam Strange and Future Quest, since I collect the Future Quest books. I got Xmen Gold. I got my. I thought you got yours, Matt, but I got the Oscar variant that came in the mail last week. Then I got Xmen Gold #1, decent read. Then I got the hip hop cover Xmen Gold 1. That's it right here. And got a book from eBay that I got for a steal. Old school X-Men 105. This book is ranging at probably about $20, $30 book. I picked this up for like $5 and some change. Paid like $5 for shipping. Aside from that, man, all I got left is like back issues. But one of the ones that I have been looking for, I picked up over at Bungie today for $1. It's Excalibur #1. So my goal is to go ahead and work on that particular run of Excalibur books. But like I said, other than that, that's all I got except for a whole bunch of old books. So,
all right, X.
I'm gonna just show you a few of the ones that I picked up over the couple weeks. Mainly the ones that came out yesterday and one from the week before. Batman Beyond #7. Got Teen Titans #7. Got Deadpool versus the Punisher #2, which I'm actually enjoying this book. Went ahead and just got the Weapon X1, and I'm waiting on my the variant cover that Matt posted to come through. I got Weapon X2. Also have the Batman 21 lenticular cover, and also Flash 21. Yeah,
Word life.
the story is decent on that too. I hate it's a 4-part book, but you know, hey, it can't last forever.
All right. Well,
That's it.
ladies, that's it.
Mhm.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight on this rather extended version of the Comment Hall and Roundtable discussion. We will be returning. It's the season finale next week for Flash.
No, it's not
No.
till May 24th.
Okay.
What?
It's like 3 more episodes.
Yeah,
We'll talk about it out there. I already know what out. When I heard it in his voice, I already know what that was. So, I already know what that was. Okay, so we'll be back well enough in time for the Flash finale. So with that, if you're not watching again, if you're not watching Into the Balance, shame on you. We're gonna get Al. We're gonna go ahead and do the time warp like the Flash. We're gonna flash him right on into episode 4. Get him up to episode 4 this season, and we'll be able to have some shown up discussions on that. For Vince, who is not here doing on dad duties, Weldon, who is resting, Larry, who is hiding from the fact that we're killing Marvel right now. He's not here to defend it.
He wasn't even on here to see me have several Marvel books.
Yep.
Oh.
And we'll be getting prepared for the Guardians. We'll give our thoughts on the Guardians of the Galaxy, and we'll also be knee deep into the button and other issues on our next show. So thanks everybody for watching. For Antonio Coleman, Al Rainey, Xavier Randall, Washington Redskins who drafted Jonathan Allen.
TC, I don't know why you laughing. He gonna be eating Prescott up.
So remains to be seen. Everybody have a great night, and we will catch you all next month. Have a good one.